Play yourself for 5 or so, if possible.
All right, perfect.
My shit's on silent.
All across the world, business fumble for me. Okay.
That was a banger.
Was that? Yo, I was actually thinking that. I'm like, imagine I had Mark McGrath stick around to do the podcast with Lush, Bricc, and the Homeroom University boys.
Menace Material. Us.
I don't want to like misgender y'all.
No.
Because I know there's a lot. You guys have
right. Yeah,
like
please.
you guys are coming in the game with a show, a bunch of different shows, and a platform. So I know people probably mess the name up constantly.
Yeah, we're interchangeable. It's either the Menace Material Boys or Homeroom University. You know what I'm saying? But the brand, the company is Menace Material Entertainment. And then the podcast that most people know us for is Homeroom University.
Yeah, Adam's obsessed with.
It would have been kind of weird to have you guys with Mark McGrath, just spanning generations, spanning ages.
I've never heard of him.
Dude.
Every morning
Don't
there's
be a
a
menace.
halo hanging on the floor. On my girlfriend's four-corner bed. You don't remember that shit?
What year? What year?
That's like 99?
Yeah, 97 was when they first put it hit out.
What
99.
level of legend is he like on?
If you watch TRL in the 90s, this was like the only thing. Like this was
Pop rock.
Got you.
Top 5 pop rock bands of the 90s, hands down.
Like Radiohead level?
Different like genre.
and
like
Radiohead have a lot more respect.
That's Britpop. That's
Okay.
like you know,
Problem.
Radiohead's Britpop.
Like he's in on the joke that
Don't
their
let
band
your
was
tail
considered
be
like
the
kind of
Puffy.
not that serious of a band.
Who's this
wow,
hip-hop compared
it's so insane how much different the mics
But did they have
sound when you have
DJ
them close to your
Homicide
mouth.
was their DJ.
They did. They didn't have a drummer. They had DJ Homicide.
Yeah, so they had like they definitely you could hear like the hip hop influence in their production and all that.
Right.
Hey, Mark McGrath certified and he rock with no jumper. That's lit. Shouts to you, my boy.
Shout out that good. Shout out that guy.
I'm so
I'm sorry for
uncomfortable
not
with how
knowing him.
close my dog's asshole was just to your
Yeah,
lean
that's-
cup. My bad. And also your filterless cigarette.
Yeah.
Sociopath once again.
Big sociopath vibes.
That's a big ass dog too.
I got some important questions though. Do y'all smoke cigarettes?
Not at all.
Thank
He
you.
does.
Good. Millennials. Also, what are your ages?
24.
23.
30, 24, 23?
33.
Damn, so you are the what they say that I am. You're exploiting the youth. I like it.
He found 2 young brothers.
Yeah, man.
Hip hop
Yeah.
legends.
We haven't crossed into gangbang politics or nothing like that.
I was about to say.
But
We're
that-
keeping it clean
Just
right
'cause
now.
North
Why is
Carolina
it
ain't
older
lit
than you,
enough.
though? Like straight up.
That's not true. I drink water, nigga. That's stop.
Yo, y'all need to
look
start
old.
upping the score out your way so that you have some more content to talk about.
Yeah. Oh no, we're not. We're good on that. Y'all, you
It
provide
goes
us.
down
You provide us
after,
more
yeah.
than enough. Like if we wanted to do no jumper every single week and only that we could.
But there's no drill rappers that you can find around your neck of the woods?
It wouldn't even be
there are.
worth it for real.
What's it worth?
Nah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Nah, man, we don't exploit our own
You see what that's
content.
doing for you?
Yeah.
You need your own lore, though. You need your own, creative lens to view the world.
We view it through podcasting. You know, that's what we explore.
I just want to say, yes, I'm wearing overalls. Yes, I was feeling that today. I actually got the overalls as well as the Gucci shirt for my anniversary this weekend, so I decided to throw them together. I don't know if that's a little in your face, given that we are in kind of a tense climate around No Jumper. It feels like there's a lot of vibes going on, a lot of feelings going every which way. So that's why I decided that as long as we were going to continue doing the Tuesday show, we needed to bring in some moderators to help us make sense of what's going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that reasonable?
I feel like that's
Yeah.
reasonable. You know, we do that from
And that-
afar.
We do it from afar.
So
why
we
not
might
do
as well
it?
do it.
My
with you here.
consultants over here.
Yeah.
So the overalls had something to do with the vibe today?
No, I actually thought
Boy.
I thought they were super inappropriate. Yes,
Yeah.
It's giving that. And the Gucci shirt is kind of like giving, like, oh, look, I've got a freaking $800 polo shirt or whatever the hell she
kinda
paid
cool.
for it. You know, that's kind of trashy too. Like, there's really like I'm giving bad messages. I'm kind of trying to like push everybody to the brink. I think.
Well, like
What I
$1,000 Travis
thought-
Scott song.
What I thought as far as
Some things never change.
the overalls was that this is like you're insinuating the invisible pitchfork that you're holding.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like he chose the wrong day to come dress as Old McDonald.
Yeah. I'm thinking about grabbing OG Suicide's chair out there and like kind of just carrying that around because I feel like I'm giving Hacksaw Jim Duggan or like what was the wrestler that wore overalls?
He did.
Oh, I didn't realize that you were in full war mode right now. Like you on offense right now. That's
on
what
the
I'm
offense.
just. I said,
about to
hold
say,
up.
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, oh, he's on bullshit. We seen the lives earlier.
What?
So he's like,
Okay,
let's get
do you have any questions burning at the front of your brain, AJ? Since I know it's hard for you to like watch this podcast without like kind of formulating like what is my take about this podcast that I'm both a part of and observing going to be.
Yes. The only burning question I have at the top of my head with the split is you said it was non-financial. You talked to your business partner, so that's the main thing, right?
Well,
that was one of the that was one of the base.
You said it was non-financial.
I mean, sorry, it was a financial
It was,
thing.
yeah.
Looking at how much each one of these shows cost to operate,
and I think
boom, boom,
honestly,
bow.
it was kind of like an aesthetic decision / like just a content decision as well / a sanity of mind decision / a business decision for me to just kind of realize, like, take a step back. I hate to do this, but I kind of got to like look at all of my peers in the space and kind of compare myself to them, look at their business models. I look at somebody like, Ack obviously is kind of focused on the streaming thing. I feel like he's faced challenges with trying to put together the academy and whatnot. I look at somebody like Vlad. I look at the way that he segments his content up. He doesn't have any consistent shows on his podcast that he's not a part of, aside from the Reggie Wright one that he's been trying to spearhead. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with that. I look at Say Cheese. They really probably drop like the least amount of content of anybody, but I feel like the quality is very high, and still Say Cheese has a great brand name regardless, and he's able to do other things that make money, like utilizing the Say Cheese branding. I think for me, No Jumper, if you look at it through 2017, 2018, 2019, it was like very focused around one thing. It was like, we're going to get as many interviews as possible. We're going to do the best interviews we can. As you go into 2020, our natural reaction to the pandemic is kind of like, we need to double down on just like whoever we got here talking on camera, enter into what was realistically a kind of impressive era when we had, at the end of the day, really kind of thriving.
Crazy. No, it was crazy, yeah.
When you think about it, T-Rail, as much of a bozo as he has shown himself to be over the past year, him, AD, shout out to AD, I guess, and Duno, like putting them all together on a show, that was pretty impressive. So then we kind of like kept chasing after that, building up more shows, more hosts, etc.
Disconnected.
And that, yeah, exactly. And like having all those kind of go at the same time was kind of like unprecedented within the hip hop space, to have like one channel that had this many different shows doing good. And I feel like in the wake of them leaving the channel, I spent a year basically trying to sort of rebuild all that. And I think ultimately the conclusion that I kind of drawn was that I don't need to be holding on to like things that previously worked on the podcast or whatever. Like, I just need to be a little bit faster to identify what's working and what isn't. And I feel like at a certain point in time, my view of content creation was that the only way we were going to make money was by creating an absolute shitload of content. That's not really necessarily the case at this point. And in fact, I even felt like we were kind of losing money on certain things. So what I really wanted to do this week was just do like a full reset, simplify No Jumper down to like the simplest parts that actually work.
Right.
And obviously there's been I actually feel like almost everybody I spoke to on the phone took it very well and was very cool about it. Bricc, Baby, Lush, Almighty, Flacco, etc.
Yeah.
I called DW Flame. I understand that he was saying that I did not call him today on the news. That is not true.
Did I double down on that?
What?
I doubled down on it.
I didn't watch any of the clips. I'm just like reading Reddit titles to base my knowledge
that you called. So I was just like, did he call you or not?
Because I did call him. I wanted to have that conversation with DW. He's been around here like the shortest period of time. I understand that he's kind of like acting as if I didn't call him, which is not true. I tried to call him. He didn't pick up. But either way, yeah, that's kind of what led me to this decision that I understand is going to be kind of controversial for people, but like that's another thing that I want to acknowledge is that like No Jumper has like a certain percentage of people who are just paying attention to it for the bullshit.
100%.
The news, as well as like some of those sort of random nightly shows, produced a lot of bullshit, a lot of like drama, a lot of stuff that like you made the point, Damn Homie versus Sharp is a whole thing. Like the fucking Reddit was obsessed with it.
That's a mini storyline.
Doesn't really do a lot for the brand as a whole when that doesn't travel outside of the No Jumper universe, right?
Church, you bring all these people on the platform to exploit all of us, Church, and then you don't want us to respond, Church. When we respond, we're in the wrong, Church.
Yo, but you see him. He's trying to make a name for himself because last time he showed up, he had words for the Mustard Man. He was telling them that he was sassy and shit.
You know,
Well, the
just
whole
trying to
thing,
Come to LA, catch a body, and just dip.
I mean, I think that like the conversation earlier
got
with
a body?
Sharp really didn't even need to there didn't need to be any emphasis on the fact that he was trying to belittle him, because I don't think that was your intention. I think what you were trying to say is there's various barometers of virality.
Right.
Now, really, what viral means is it transcends the initial platform. And not only when I say platform, I don't mean the universe it exists in, but the actual uploader. Like it gets uploaded by, it's all over TikTok. It's on different channels. It's on different like tweets. This one has 500,000. This one has 1.2. That is virality. You know what I mean? Like hence in the very definition of the word right there. So it is.
This is tickling your fancy right now. Go ahead.
What do you mean tickling?
Because I say nay, church. It's a nay for me, church. Are you getting back to?
It's get back game season.
Okay.
Oh wait, you and Sharp have a thing going on.
That's the thing. Look, Sharp's been getting a raw deal lately. I feel like a lot of people are on Sharp's helmet. I'm empathetic towards that because I've experienced the highs and lows of the No Jumper fan base. I think that he has a lot more, mental fortitude than I did at that point when I was kind of in the.
But you're different though. You're different in the way that you got when you hit your highs in the No Jumper universe. It was for a different reason.
Yeah,
correct.
They clowning them about a picture and shit.
So it was easier for you to come back. You know what I'm saying? But if you just like amping on bitches, that's a little different. Where it's like it just might get played out.
Well, to an extent, like if we're talking about the actual content, that's a different conversation. But
that's a conversation. I was having both conversations.
Right, and I did hear that as well.
Yeah.
But that's ultimately a subjective opinion.
It is 100%.
Whether you're right or wrong, there is no, whether I agree or don't.
There's some metrics you can go.
There are some metrics.
Don't start trying to put parameters on it now.
But going back
to what my whole point is though, is that the last thing I want to do is throw additional shots and try to cut somebody down when they're already getting roasted. Like there's like that doesn't gain me, especially when we all ultimately changes as they may occur, pushing the same line.
It's always highs on lows.
Yeah, we do.
And when I was making those phone calls, Sharp had an extremely understanding and positive reaction to it because he's somebody who in very recent memory had, embarrassing him / like dragging his name through the mud turned into content day after day for a week or two there with the Damn Homie situation, to the point where people ask me like, is Damn Homie gonna be back on the news? I'm like, I don't think it makes sense for me to be bringing in chicks to antagonize somebody who's been rocking with me for all these years. And that just doesn't really like benefit us that much. What, we're gonna do another round of that? We're gonna have her and Sharp yell at each other on the fucking show again for another episode of the news? Like, that's just not really. It is good in the short term for like just getting some views.
What if
but what the fuck? Like, it just don't do that.
Thing. What if they find love the next sit down?
Listen, if it does go in that direction, I will certainly reconsider.
Hey, but real quick, going back to, because I never got to answer my question.
Right.
You're just kind of like break down the logic. So now, in your explanation, it sounds like the quality outweighed the actual production costs. That's how it sounded based on the way you like described it a little bit. So my question is, it feels like they also weren't profitable, but that was one of the main things you had said to the last era people is that their shows weren't profitable and the numbers were very different.
Right.
Because that last era was coming out the gate with 150,000 in the first 24 hours, So
definitely that was a different era. But the one thing I will say is that when you're talking live content,
talking about the pay disparity between
vast majority of it is
between
like
live and
and even just like content that you have to rush out. Like the clip of Whack running up on Flacco has 500,000 views and has made exactly like $50 on YouTube. Just to put it in perspective of like how much these viral moments actually end up being worth, which I think a lot of people kind of get the wrong idea about that.
You can't even account for that.
The crash out didn't demonetize, did it?
No, that one definitely was demonetized. Yeah, and then like I mean like a lot of the nightly podcasts, I'm gonna be honest with you, like people just had a really hard time keeping their potty mouth under control. So like a huge percentage of that was getting demonetized and stuff. So
the
I mean.
Clips?
The clips as well as the live streams,
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
It's all encompassing.
That's dope to know.
Every piece of content.
That was
Can you minimize the chat? That shit is driving me crazy. I can't have that in my fucking fourth view. I gotta like bring it up separately later.
But that was the only burning question at the top.
When did you know this was gonna happen? Like, did you know this months ago, or like was this honestly like a last week thing? And it was just like, yeah, I'm announcing it.
I think like a few months ago when we decided like let's try and do a bunch of nightly live streams was kind of like me thinking in another direction of like, well, maybe we just need to create a bunch more shit and kind of see how that goes. And then like kind of over the course of the last like week or two is kind of when I sort of had a realization that I kind of wanted to rein shit in and do a little bit of a focus more on just quality. And even like in terms of us just doing podcasts of us sitting around and like talking and everything, I just feel like instead of doing a consistent schedule, let's just like do it when we feel like we've got the ammunition. Because a lot of the really, truly dreadful content on the news and shit comes from people getting on camera and not knowing what the fuck they're supposed to be talking about. Or even, you know, a memory that comes to mind is when you guys did the episode of No Statements where you had those girls talking about the wigs for a long time. I mean, honestly, I didn't see it. I didn't want to like kill myself mentally in my brain by clicking it, but I heard that there was like a wig infomercial.
What happened was, you know, that show ended up winning me the influencer prize on the show. Well,
you just broke
ulterior motives.
You just accidentally exposed that you won the show that is not out yet.
No, he didn't.
On the Tronics
it's
Network.
Still 3 more days.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
You just feeling
I got
good.
to film for 3 days.
Yeah.
You just feeling
I just
good,
feel
right?
like
That was the cup talking. You're good.
Now, they might buy a wig. We don't know.
no, but what it was,
They might.
All
I don't know.
those girls were the girls that was in the house with me, and it was like, take your child to work day. It
But
was
if
like,
we
how
have
could I
learned,
influence?
if we've learned anything from Fresh and Fit and whatever and Sharp and every other female-led podcast that's ever existed, there are so few female-led podcasts. But meanwhile, podcasts in which, by the way, shout out to the dog smacking his
Come on,
fucking
man.
But if you're going to do a podcast with a bunch of girls, you can't let them run the environment. You need to be running it, and you need to allow them to speak.
And that's why Dan Homie,
Fresh and Fit has taught us that.
That's why Dan Homie was like Shang Tsung to Shark. You feel me? Like he was the ultimate opponent. She was fighting back.
I text you right after that. I told you I possibly could have did my work.
You did, and that kind of made me not even like care
one.
about
You
watching. I was like,
apologize.
okay, he knows that wig
If you
infomercial
send
was
me
not
that,
good.
then I know.
Yeah,
Let's not even
texted
look.
him directly after. First of all, I'm on 7 days in the house with these girls. We've been drinking, we've been partying, we've been on. So while I'm here, I'm getting like agitated. It's like the bender, the end.
You already burnt
You
out.
haven't even slept yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already burnt
How can
out.
you have patience?
And it was like, then it was like trying to overtalk, and then you had Gordy. I guess he had got drunk or something, so he was on and off the camera and letting people sit down in his seat. He couldn't even drive the car for me when I was all the way out of gas. So he was like, have the floor. Let's hurry up and end it.
It was everybody's lowest moment.
Yeah.
Caught on camera.
It
What's going on
happens.
with Gordy?
But honestly, I think that also we'd be remiss to acknowledge the fact that yes, were the numbers way bigger for the live shows during the pandemic era? Absolutely. But if you guys analyze metrics for a living, right? That's part of what y'all do. Now, were all live streams numbers super inflated during that time?
Everybody was at
They
the
were,
concert.
but the drop was definitely different. Like,
drop was different,
even when they
and-
left, and even 6 months to 8 months after they left, they were still clearing 100,000. Even if
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Like,
saying?
that's not to take away from what they did.
Yeah,
'Cause,
peak
like,
it might have been like 200 though. Like it was up back then. You
Right.
know?
She said, but this is what you're saying. This is what I feel like we're losing our whatever word, exclusivity.
Yeah.
By being accessible every day. Like I know that they don't have to look at my Instagram. They don't have to wait till interviews. They don't have to wait to. There's no mystery no more. It's like we know how Brick's feeling today. We know how this dude's feeling today because we're all in their face every single day.
Yeah.
Sometimes twice
Live,
and 3
too.
times a day. You get what I'm
You got to
saying?
look at how Joe Budden runs his program. He's got all these hosts,
tight
right?
ship over there,
And
man.
all those hosts are reasonably popular, right? Like varying degrees, but like realistically, any of Joe Budden's hosts could probably do a piece of content on Joe Budden's channel and get not as many views, but maybe half,
They do all right, though.
maybe 40%, but still like a respectable number.
Right.
But he doesn't do that. Even with the dudes like Queen's Flip that obviously has like his own standout potential and everything.
Just
like
Flip.
instead he kind of like keeps everything consolidated and they keep their crew together and they do episodes like that. And there's just a huge focus on quality. And I feel like No Jumper for a while there, we were doing a little bit too much spray and pray.
Yeah.
You just do as much shit as possible.
And make up for
And
any
I feel
deficit that you might have.
I feel the other guys are only seen once, twice a week. And so it's like, yeah, they probably are clear because you only hearing from them one time a week.
Have y'all seen?
Oh
this?
no. Joe Budden is like 4 or 5 times.
No,
a week.
I'm talking about the people you were talking about. You said when they left 8
Oh,
months.
got you.
But I would say that
No, they did the
the
news.
quantity thing is a problem for them as well, because for sure, like the darkest period of the No Jumper show was when AD was coming on and not saying shit because he was doing like 4 or 5 other live streams that week during the same week. And I feel like even now, they just be doing too much, and the fan base has kind of scattered and got lost and shit. Whereas I feel like
The Fig, back on Fig, or we talking about Community?
I'm talking about them. Well,
Oh, I
all
thought
of
they
them.
only
talking
did
about
2
all of
days.
them,
AD streaming so goddamn much these days. Like I clicked on the other day and watched like 5 minutes, and I was just like, this is inexcusable. Like
Yeah.
this is the worst monologue rant I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like those dudes need to strip everything away, and they need to do 1 podcast a week. They need to maybe do 2 podcasts a week.
I'm thinking about going
Wait,
home.
which one are you specifically referring to?
Oh,
all of them. Because all I'm
some
saying
of them
is,
some of them were pretty funny.
when it comes to No Jumper, I feel like that is definitely true, but when it comes to them, it's extremely true.
I
Like they
understand.
need to
Okay.
scale back and do less. And if anything, No Jumper planted the seed in their mind that in order to run a successful media company, you need to be pumping out like multiple pieces of content per day. And
that was the era you
I
were
don't
in.
think that's the case at all, because we can look at all kinds of people. Like how many interviews a week does Academics do? Like maybe 1. Vlad does a handful of interviews a week, and they seem like more because he's dropping them clip
They're not
by
hitting
clip
us every day though.
Yeah, but it's like you just don't need to be producing such a gigantic flood of content. And if anything, I think that it was kind of maybe potentially like watering down the channel as a whole.
Quality over quantity.
I'm trying to
Moving forward.
We can
Which
always
is always a good.
We could always tack a couple more shows on if we feel like this is getting boring or whatever. Like I'm not closing the door on that, because like obviously if we get something really fucking great going and the channel keeps getting better and better in terms of us just podcasting together, it's like there's going to be a day where I'm not around. And then you guys are going to do it without me. And it's like that just makes sense. Like obviously I'm still open to that. This to me is like a temporary, or who knows, like let's just consolidate and really like see if we can make this shit as good
There's
as possible.
never a bad time to do that. Honestly, at the end of the day, when you're just saying, I want to make the content better. You know what I'm saying? So there's never a bad time to even.
And is this really a
have that
break?
moment?
Is this really a break?
Nah, this is a.
It's definitely not a break from me in terms of my own personal like content making, because like for me, an average week is probably doing like 5 to 10 interviews. Like that to me is just like what
That's
my
your regular
brain
work
is
week.
trained to do. Like if anything, I'm trying to like force myself to not take every interview, because I feel like that kind of waters the content down as time goes by. I'd rather kind of focus on specific shit, you know?
This is the first time I met you, but it does feel like you got a monkey off your back. Like it's just like
whoa.
No Norbies.
whoa.
You got it, chill.
I didn't know. I forgot.
You can't even use those terms. Like,
American Cholo gonna pop you in the face now.
you got some stress off his shoulder.
yeah.
Weight has been lifted.
I do.
Weight was lifted.
A weight has been lifted off his shoulder.
You know, think about my girl. Every time I say that I'm gonna do some shit, I'm gonna move somebody off the podcast, or I'm gonna fire somebody, she gets real fucking nervous, because she was one. She knew AD was getting moved off the Tuesday show, and then she saw everything
anxiety's
fucking
up.
explode 4 days later or whatever, a couple days later. So like she was like kind of nervous, and I'm telling her, I'm like, listen, like this is just like what I need
think
to
this is
do
the
in
cleanest
order
one
to
so
run a media company that I think
Hey,
is
you
going
did
to
it
work.
like a G though.
Yeah.
I think it's the cleanest.
They talk
I think it's
about
the cleanest end so far.
What super chat said over the phone. That was coward shit. I'm like, no, email.
Yeah.
What do you want to have people drive all the way over here?
That would have been real corporate. Like,
Individually, you have a conversation. You let the person vent.
Yeah.
5 to 10 minutes. Hey, let me get to the next.
And the
person,
only
then get
person
out the
that
way.
it ended up being weird with, that apparently was talking shit, even though I didn't see it, was DW, who's the only one that I didn't actually get on the phone with. So I feel like if I probably had got on the phone with him for 10 minutes, he wouldn't have been on here talking shit.
And
It
you
wasn't
did-
even weird.
and you did
It
call
wasn't
him.
weird.
I did call him, but he apparently didn't see it.
What
But
time-
why is that always the case with you? Why is it always somebody say something and then you come on and it's like, nah, man, I did that.
Because everybody
happens
tries to
every
shape
time.
their fucking narrative to be whatever point they're trying to get across.
So you're saying it's easy to do that to you?
Super easy, because everybody just says whatever they want about the big boss man.
If you are
got overalls on.
if you have a reputation that precedes you, that's based on lack of accountability. People are going to be able to like attack that to you real easily.
Right.
Wow.
In this case, you know,
You might not understand it.
you
Jesus,
think,
Lush.
you think someone had to.
I've been here before too, nigga.
But I know that my brother Comparator was very, very.
I heard he was crying and shit.
He's feeling down about it. But what I wanted to explain to him is, look, if anybody has been through the ringer, the good, the bad, and the ugly of this organization, is me. And I know that, look, if you see me back as one of the only people that are still in regular motion over here, considering what I already went through, anybody, if you just stay solid, you know what I'm saying, keep your head forward and stay loyal to the brand.
Nigga, you giving...
That was crazy.
Yo, nigga, this is not the pursuit of happiness.
I was say, what the fuck is this?
Keep your head up.
Keep your head up.
Pay your bills.
No, it's not. I get. We felt that shit.
I know it sounds funny.
We
like,
felt
I get
it. But we all.
Lush.
Come on, man.
No, look, but here's the thing. There's forever going to be ebbs and flows and changes in this channel, in this company, and in this game. And you got to stay ready for whatever's ahead, you know? And if you maintain a valuable asset to the company, you will continue to be included.
I'm sorry. You are staying permanently, right?
Yeah,
we still
And that's why, like, nigga, you saying that is
most of the people that weren't really contracted or most of the people that got the hit, like, it was, I don't want to get into business. Did I say too much? But it was like motherfuckers didn't even have contracts.
You always cheaters on
So it's like if you would show the show anyway, that's still like tryout era, right?
Right.
True.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's like at the end of the day, I didn't want to say that because I'm staying
I
and
said
shit
that
like
on
that,
the-
but I'm
yeah.
like, it kind of wasn't really locked in. Motherfuckers was finding a place for
100%.
everybody to
You can
fit.
feel it a little
You
bit.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
And
can
that's
feel
why
it,
he
yeah.
probably didn't take it into his hands to contract certain people until they fit in where they fit in.
Because it was like a water
It was
fountain
like
kind
2-3
of.
months for me too.
I just want to throw a narrative out there. There's a conversation I had when I went on Academics' podcast in New York, and I hate that I always kind of like have to refer to media game that he's put me on or whatever, but I got to do it because he had a very good observation. Like, he was drunk as fuck, and he was clearly
So he was in his prime.
he was in his zone, his aura.
Yeah, sure, he was locked in.
And he was he was talking about the fact that his Reddit, which he doesn't really interact with his Reddit at all, according to him, and he doesn't, like, his Reddit seems very disconnected from like his actual content. It seems like it's basically just a league of haters. But like his Reddit would prefer that he do non-stop content that is full-blown analysis of his relationship with Crazy Girl.
Yeah, literally.
So, which apparently he's still hanging out with, which is crazy in its own right. But like, you know, he doesn't want to do content about that. Instead, he's chasing after things that are actually going to fucking grow his channel, which obviously he has seen absurd growth over the past month or two. And so from my perspective, I've been thinking about that ever since, of like, when it comes to the news, when it comes to the drama clips, all that kind of shit, it does kind of feel like that's what a certain segment of the audience wants, but that's not really the shit that's going to grow the channel or really get us going in a great direction. It's just kind of like a need that we've gotten used to satisfying. But I'm not really used. But it ultimately isn't really the thing that grows the channel, and it's not the thing that really helps the business. Right. We've had a bunch of interviews over the past couple months that did millions of views, and that's like very consequential to the business. And in comparison, you know, just like me doing another T-Rail rant does nothing for the channel, besides satisfy like a tiny percentage of the Reddit that is still 100%. Hung up on that shit.
And a big percentage.
And there's a certain
your
ego.
But him, on the other hand, his like, that's the only thing that works on his channel is talking about me, talking to my homie, talking to people that used to be on this channel. That's like his only trick that works.
Yeah. And then at a certain
besides
point,
slobbing off of Schoolboy Q.
You're going crazy. And it's also like,
Nasty, man.
Also, like, do you feel like it's kind of like a content midlife crisis? You want to be able to look back at your catalog and be really proud of it?
A little bit of that, but also it's like, this is a lifestyle business in the sense that I am in here working on a very consistent basis. And at a certain point, you just kind of ask yourself, like, well, what do I want my actual life to be like?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of days do I want to work? Because, like, okay,
No Jumper's your legacy.
and we have
That should have been a reality show too. You fucked up. You dropped
It kind
the
of
ball.
was though.
You dropped the ball on that. Go
what,
ahead.
just having all y'all out here.
All the bullshit.
I feel like so much of it would have been so fucking depressing. It would have been you know, getting hit with the Narcan in the garage at midnight.
That's what I'm saying. Jesus.
Talk about the movie?
That's what YouTube need.
No, okay, but okay. This is the thing. We got summer coming up, right?
Yeah.
Bro. Kanye doing 8 beats a day for 8 summers or whatever. I spent many summers out of my life doing fucking nothing besides sitting in that office grinding out interviews. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to be still doing a shitload of interviews, but I'm just saying that like when I think about my life, it's like, and especially like I have other ways of making money at this point, and it's just kind of like a realization of like, oh, the most profitable thing that I could do today would probably be to like go to the beach and like hang out with a bunch of hot chicks and put it on Snapchat.
Yeah.
The most profitable thing.
A lot of times that is kind of the conclusion that I'm forced to deal with at this point.
What's going on with Snapchat?
And I know I get to meet the
he keep bringing that shit up every couple
and
of seconds.
I'm trying really hard not
to. Every couple of seconds. I'm
trying to leave it alone.
My Snapchat did it really well, so hey,
let's not talk
come follow me over
there.
You
know what I'm saying? Like
I've been trying to meet these Snapchat
nigga, what?
I got here.
It sounds like the bag is insane.
I'm trying not to get too comfortable. I'm trying to wait to get other people on the program.
Yeah, don't take it for granted.
No, but Adam, like, don't you feel like the content that's created on YouTube raises the overall ceiling of your profile, which then leads to more engagement on Snapchat? So although you might not be directly profiting off of the content on YouTube to the same degree, it's raising the awareness of you and people's interest in your content.
Lush, I just need girls in bathing suits to make my Snapchat thumbnail. I just need the Snapchat thumbnail to be because all right, the thing is you can get away with a Snapchat thumbnail with a bunch of ass in it as long as you're by a body of water. The AI won't pick it up if you're by the water.
Oh shit, free rules.
So I'm going to the water.
Who told you that?
You got the freaky hacks.
I got a lot going on.
He got all the freak hacks.
I'll take sand to the beach. I'm gonna get some more sand when I get to the beach. I'm gonna bring some sand in my pockets.
Shells and sand dollars.
Yeah.
As wild as your life is, you're living a sweet life where if this is what you're doing all right.
And I'm doing all right regardless.
You're doing all right, bro.
But that's part of the problem.
You should have them all in dog cages.
I just want to think about this. Whatever you fucking get your audience used to content-wise is what they're going to get used to, and they're going to expect you to generate that amount of shit. And it's like, from our perspective, we've gotten the audience so used to like a gigantic flood of content on a weekly basis. Yeah. And when I really zoom out and I'm like, what is this really fucking doing for me? It's just kind of like, okay, maybe I want to run this a little bit differently.
And then when that happens, you got to expect the students to be confused because now they learning new shit.
Exactly.
So some people don't raise their hand, answer questions.
Do you think, have we pre-recorded these shows and kind of cut the drama out or whatever and made sure that everything was monetized? Do you think we would have did better than live?
I mean, live, like this, I feel like has to be live more often than not just because of the legacy of us doing it live. Like, I just feel like there's some value in doing it live, even if it doesn't really make immediate sense, you know?
But putting beginners on live.
Oh, what? You mean like the other guys that they got used to doing it live? Right. Oh,
I'm not even out of it. I'm not out of the conversation. I'm talking about all the beginners. Me.
You just kind of throw people into the fire.
Well, what about that? What about the idea of, because you know a lot of podcasts like Call Her Daddy, I would always hear that they would record for 2 hours and then listen to it back and cut out an hour's worth of shit and put out an hour-long podcast once they edited out all the weak shit.
Well, that's because they got to lie about some of the shit they saying.
Probably some of that too, but also just the fact that like they're girls, they're boring most of the time. They probably like really like, but if you take like a bad 2 hours, you could probably almost certainly turn that into a pretty good 1 hour.
That's a pretty.
So if that would have been the training wheels approach to like you getting into doing your own podcast, and especially if you maybe got like a Remo on the side of the room who can kind of like stop recording for a second, and be like, all right, we got to stop the wig infomercial.
Yeah, for sure.
So
because you can't stop it live and be rude, like, all right, bitch, we don't give a fuck about that shit.
No, and even the shit
you
like
could, but you just had to be
back in the
day.
The No Jumper Show in general, like if it wasn't live in the beginning and we had been able to have me kind of be like, time out, like let's talk about the fact that we're doing something that is like really bad podcasting, probably would have been a lot better for the overall product, but it wouldn't have been as exciting because it wouldn't have been live.
Well, bro, we did like when I first came on No Jumper, we did 3 test episodes before it even aired.
3 pilots.
Test episodes?
Yeah.
Pilots.
You shot 3 pilots?
Oh, you in Disaster?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we did 3 test episodes. Did
they keep
where
getting
was that
better?
for?
Yeah, there was like subtle.
The Battle Rap Pod. What was it called?
Originally it was called God Tier.
God
Me and
Tier.
Disaster had a whole Battle Rap podcast, which wasn't really. It was dope, but if you look back, we had some really dope content. It was just kind of the.
I remember it was
niche.
niche.
Wasn't really. It was very niche.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we're interviewing like Razzcast.
Because it wasn't bad.
And,
it just it didn't resonate with the audience.
Yes, it didn't really resonate. It was like a different audience. But
sometimes it just takes time to catch though. For the battle rap niggas to find and to be like, oh, Adam got this on the channel now.
Exactly, and regardless, and I wound up, transitioning to the No Jumper show, and the rest is history.
Yeah,
and because all the shows are gone, the idea of new hosts coming in frequently is probably not going to happen again, right?
I feel like the method we were doing before was just like, let's just try anything on camera, live. We're not going to try anybody out in advance. We're just going to try whatever. Yeah. And I feel like now my mentality is just way more focused. Strategic. If I was going to bring anybody else in, it's going to be done in a very deliberate manner.
Why do you think that was your game plan originally, to just spray shit at the wall and see what sticks? Did you think that podcasting was easier?
I think the store sparked it, right?
Well, it's the fact that I've always just recorded and I've released 99% of everything that I've ever recorded unedited, so it's like then when if I bring AD and T-Roll and Duno in and they're doing a podcast, well, number one, they're doing it live, so it's not even an option to edit it, but when I bring them in, I'm just, whatever we get is what we get, because that's how I've always treated myself.
And that's the same problem Kobe had, to where it's like, nigga, I'm just gonna hit the shot. Like, if I pass you the ball, just hit the shot.
You put your
standards. Kobe's expecting everybody to be as good as Kobe.
But you passing the ball to Dennis Rodman on a bad day, and no homo.
He just
you got to say what the fuck ever.
That's crazy. That's a bunch of
it's learning I can't say that shit live because you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, I'm going through all type of shit, and I hate to keep on going back to me, but it's just like
no, but
I would have put Kill Squad out regardless. I don't give a fuck. That was coming out. That was.
I told you that's what I said during the news.
That was too good.
You gonna get to a point you want something to not drop, and he's gonna be like, "Fuck no, that's going out." I knew that was happening.
Everybody's like, "Why is Adam putting it up?" I said, "Hey, man.
Yeah, man.
If it was on my channel, it'd be out immediately."
But you also,
I ain't letting Yazzers get that shit, bro. We putting that shit out. Fuck out of here.
But you also, but the whole process of just recording it 2 hours and just throwing it out there. You also, I feel like you come from that same podcast listening generation of the loudspeaker shows, the combat jet. That's the same shit we're coming from. You know what I'm saying? Age. So even when we do our podcast now, it's gonna be 2.5 to 3 hours long,
right?
Because we just gonna be flowing, but in our minds, we're like, this is gonna be a lit 2.5 to 3 hours, Wait,
question, just because I don't know, is how did y'all come together? Are you guys childhood friends, or was it a specific I'm looking for fellow podcast host thing?
It fell together kind of perfectly. So I've been podcasting in Raleigh, North Carolina for 6 years total. I started doing music, but I don't drop music when the pace of music picked up and it was Spotify streaming and shit. I don't write songs that fast. So I was like, I'll stay relevant by doing a podcast. I did my podcast for 5 years. There was always ups and downs within those 5 years, but then I was taking it more serious on year 6, and I'm like, I'm gonna start a network, find somebody. They've been doing their podcast in the city parallel.
Yeah, LOY the show. We have been working. It's not my brother, but this is my brother. And then
y'all used to wrestle over the cereal or no?
Nah. He knows who eats first. Come on now, it's no wrestling.
Then I went to a live show because they've done a couple live shows. So I went to a live show, chopped it up with AJ, and
Yeah, and we did the whole industry thing first, because
he's like, we gonna work.
I think I might have brought one of the first live podcasts to Raleigh City, to the city of Raleigh. We done multiple, but he came. We did the whole industry. Yo, I do a podcast in Raleigh too. What up? Oh, we'll work. That shit. Yeah. And then I followed them, started seeing all their clips, and the shits were funny. So then I had them come in one day on the Three Oak podcast, which is the one I was doing now, and then they only had an hour, but we went viral on TikTok. Off that 1 hour, and then I was like, come back, we got to run it. We need to do the whole thing. We went viral on Instagram the very next week. I was like, look, I'm starting a network. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I'm taking this shit more serious. Y'all already have a show, bring your show over here. And then we ended up creating Homeroom University. And then
it's crazy because it seems like the easiest thing in the world to find a bunch of dudes who like hip hop and are funny and can talk about it and have decent opinions, but then when you actually try to put it together, it's just unbelievably difficult. And I feel like I seen that with Ak, because he starts trying to do the academy thing, and I was thinking New York City, there's got to be a million motherfuckers who are great at talking about rap that are going to be right there at his disposal.
They're not.
But I think it's just actually way harder than it seems.
But he wants a chat nigga. Specifically.
He was one.
Well, that's what he started with.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he was trying to call the nepotism.
When I came in, we wasn't talking about too much rap though. I came in,
straight gangbanging.
It was it wasn't even straight gangbanging, because it was me, you. Who was the third seat? It was Rotate. court.
You were talking bad about me.
God bless the court era.
You were talking shit about
court
me.
era was fine. Yeah. Court era was
But
fine.
at the end of the day, it was like chapter whatever. If this is chapter 5, then
Right.
it was the end of chapter 4 or
Right,
whatever the
right.
case
I feel
was.
you.
And we
Yeah.
were more breaking into
Because you've been a part of
end
multiple
that.
eras. You've always popped
Well, I
in and
just
out.
came on the brink of one, and then I wasn't the podcast watching type dude. Like I watch like hella documentaries on YouTube and all that. And if I see Adam with somebody that I deal with, like I'll watch it or I'll come up here with them or whatever. And like I'm like, Flacco had me, and then he like, man, you should start potting. And then,
Yeah, Flacco was the one who suggested you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
Flacco like opened my eye up to it. He like, all that shit that you do on Instagram. And
But bro,
shit. Like,
you were
I'm pretty sure you and Adam like y'all.
He was
y'all
an
gotta
automatic
keep-
fan favorite. The vivid first memory I remember seeing you was when you did an interview with Adam and you had like a pink hoodie on.
Yeah.
And you was telling the whole thing. It was like 2.5 hours of stories.
No, it was that
and they
crazy
weren't-
jacket, wasn't it?
It was
In
something.
the
It was
old
something
days.
super. Yeah,
I just remember he came in a white tee holding a big ass jacket, like an expensive ass designer jacket.
Right.
He like threw it on for the interview,
that
and I
was
was
a
like,
lot-
"That's some Cali ass shit right there."
I had seen you a million, just little clips here and there. That was my first run through. That was a classic interview. That shit was lit. You know what I'm saying?
But right
So you
around
already
that time,
kind of had like a nice.
Right around that time
You know,
too was when he did the
yeah.
Cam Capone shit that went like hella viral.
That's also
because that's
crazy,
one thing
yeah.
that Bricc Baby brings to the table that I always appreciate is he has like the most unfiltered, just like the cigarettes, street perspective possible. Which I was coming from. The AD is like the most filtered fucking cigarette you ever gonna smoke in your life.
Yeah,
which is
double
just like a
filtered
very
Newport.
different experience. Yeah, he's a filtered Newport because it's like he can't really like
Marlboro
say shit
Ultralight.
because he's terrified that anything that he says is gonna basically like hurt his ability to go to the
political,
club and drink
right.
1942 with them. You know,
He's very political.
You trying to shame him for being compassionate?
nah, just for being a
He
drunk.
said that nigga has feelings for people.
Yeah, but it's not like legitimate
He's a bad
feelings. It's
guy.
just like, oh, I hope they let me in their section.
Yeah, I mean,
Nah,
it's like,
no, hell no. We ain't let you
I
do that.
feel like
Bullshit.
nah.
Hell no.
He took you to the club one time and then you dick right multiple times.
Who told you that?
The Glaze
Who
couch.
told you that?
This is the Glaze couch.
I know. Look,
Glaze
no,
couch
hell no.
memes
That
incoming
nigga-
now.
Oh,
That
you
nigga
told him?
not-
You told him that?
We starving. I need some Glaze couch memes.
This better not be the
He is
Glaze
not in
couch.
the-
Telling our
he is
fucking
not in the
business,
club begging for shit. That's
Oh,
a
yeah,
fact.
all right.
no,
And if this the
he's
Glaze
not
couch,
in the
it's your
club
flow.
begging for
One of
nothing.
them
I glazed it up for you.
What-
You
what-
don't want to do.
Basically, what he
Lubed it
said
up
is
for us,
though, not like that because AD my boy, but it's
Yeah.
like
Same.
he don't want to hinder his gangbang career. What he said is like he go out, motherfuckers staring at him. I always been one of the most hated around here. I don't care because I've been the same way.
Oh boy, look
from
at
day
this.
one. I've been
Yeah.
the same
Oh,
way
shit.
from day one.
Y'all
Everybody
are just two different people.
Everybody
Yeah,
who met me.
you're just
So
two
it's
different
like
people,
even like with me speaking on certain people, it's like, man, I done told you this to your face. Like I'm one
Right,
of them
yeah,
type
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Like you can't deny what I say. That's why you don't hear no rebuttal after I say it. Like
Yeah.
y'all don't really want to bring that back up. The only people that talk crazy about me and to me is my
Get people to pay attention to that kind of content. Do you feel like that? And what do you feel like are the trends or the things that are actually making you guys excited or want to tune into people's podcasts, given that we're still kind of in the early days of podcasting, but at the same time, the ecosystem has developed a lot, and there's a lot of things that we can really kind of identify that are working and aren't working. I want to know what you guys think that is the trends as well as like what's working right now for people.
Okay.
I don't even think it's over. It was never that simple. Like,
Yeah.
who was a popping podcast that had that recipe? It's just a bunch of niggas on the couch. Joe Budden, right?
Joe.
Yeah.
Straight
But he's not
idiots.
starting off from scratch. So a bunch of niggas that was in their basements and garages thought that we could do what a nigga who's been on Love and Hip Hop and has been in Slaughterhouse and had a rap career did in 2 years.
Or even Brilliant Idiots, radio,
Literally.
stand-up comedy. You know what I mean?
Jesus and Marvel.
A lot of the early podcasters were people who had illustrious careers before. I mean, even if they weren't illustrious, they had careers. So where they weren't dropping their first episode and they got 5 plays, they were at least going to do a couple 100,000 or at least 10,000 maybe. You know?
But I mean, the Joe Budden podcast when it first started coming out was already a thing, like from
Exact-
episode
from
one.
very-
Like,
from
Just
one.
from him having like a rabid rap fan base, Twitter fan base,
And his is the
etc.
biggest
Like,
because it seemed like he showed rappers a retirement route too. There was no rappers.
Who got
really-
left on bad
Joe
bougie.
Budden was on the internet way before it was cool to even do
He
that.
was always
Going
innovative,
the Internet
yeah.
Soldiers era, he had his own message board. He was doing direct-to-consumer sales on his website. years before.
If you go to his YouTube channel that they post the podcast on and you sort by oldest episodes, you're going to see these crazy ass little mini cam recordings of him and Tahiri like just hanging out, doing random shit. It's actually crazy. Because I remember watching some of that shit when it came out.
No, the Migos made Joe Budden.
But to
a new generation. By that point, he's already like 4 years into the podcast.
To your point earlier, when you were like, oh, you would figure there'd be a bunch of fools in New York City that know about hip hop and you can kind of just juxtapose them and you're going to have a great conversation. What you can't force is chemistry. And what those type of shows are dependent upon is chemistry.
All these shows are dependent on chemistry.
Not all of them anymore. Back when, so like that era of homies kicking it, like Tone was saying, is not as easy to do. And
because your homies aren't famous,
and your homies don't take podcasting seriously.
And a lot of people are mediocre.
Like,
most
people
know that, bro.
So like when we all been podcasting, they've done interviews, they've done 100+ interviews before I even met them. Same with me, I did 100+ interviews before I met them. So it's like we even know just for our own individual missions before we came together how hard it was to find people that are like, you fuck with this shit for real. Oh, let's get it. Turn the mic on. Like really do it and be homies. Have that build that relationship with each other because we've known each other for just a little bit over a year.
The crazy thing about y'all is that you guys all actually watch the same fucking podcast, which throughout my life has always kind of been the struggle with podcasting. Is that it's very difficult telling a Bricc baby to watch a 2-hour podcast. I mean, this motherfucker got things going on. He's doing things out here. Like, I mean, that's not always going to be the easiest ask. And a lot of people, it's kind of harder. I judge them more harshly because they really do just be sitting around the crib.
Right.
But he really out here moving and grooving.
Right.
Whoa.
But when I'm on the, I'm rolling. But
moment of silence.
But when I'm on the road, since Adam had put me in this space, and then I start picking up that type of stuff.
Exactly.
That's what I do. I don't listen.
It helps
to
you
music.
become a better
podcaster.
podcaster.
Listen to the podcast, watch the podcast. That's how I did end up growing. It's like only so much Joe Budden I could take though.
Of course.
But as an LA dude,
that's how it's
LA dudes have a very different attitude about. Like if you're in New York, Joe Budden podcast feels like Hot 97.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When you're in LA, it's a different vibe. It's still known and people seeing the clips, but like it's not the same rabid vibe, right?
Big Boy in the Morning to people. You feel me? Like this is literally, and beyond that, you've had me watch horrible Netflix shows about Amish women getting abortions.
Remember that? What was that called?
I don't know, but I was
But
like,
that sounds funny though.
Yeah, that's
no, that one was terrible.
Abortions,
It was like the saddest shit ever. I forget what it was called.
I don't know, but you were like,
Escaping Amish or something.
Nah, it was some movie,
that was
bro.
way
No,
too-
they
that
got
was way
this.
too niche.
that one's tight.
The Escaping the
That
Amish.
one's tight.
That's
Somebody's
those
gonna
are fire.
tell us in the
Yeah.
comments. Tell us in the comments. I
Yeah,
forget.
But
But,
yeah, let me watch some wild ass shit. I was like, damn, 22.
But yeah, finding that. But then we've also expanded what we watch because we had foundational podcasts that we watched together. But now we're watching, Brilliant
White people.
Yeah, like Brilliant Idiots was like our main foundation. Loudspeaker, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where we all kind of have our foundation from, and then it branches outside of that. You know what I mean? But yeah, we at this point now we watch things, but as a new generation or like a new wave of podcasting, I think one of the things I know I keep in mind consciously is like we want to make sure that we maintain that chemistry on screen, which is an ode to the first generation of podcasting. But you do have to keep up with some sort of niche of trending topics too.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Which I didn't think about at all. The whole early era of the No Jumper Show with me, House Fun, and Cam Girl, I feel like there were no topics.
Bro, I didn't give a fuck what they were talking about. Like literally, who cares? They might touch on something that just happened, but that was not the foundation of that show.
We would only tune into doing topics when it became obvious, like, oh, we can't just like make fat jokes about each other the whole fucking episode.
Right,
you know,
that's
like,
what it was.
Which
Yeah.
I think like Dave dealt with that as well. Like,
Yeah,
Fat jokes are fire though.
fat jokes are all right, but it's like,
depends.
you know what it is? It's like, all right, I've done this because I remember when I interviewed Rory and Mal, I went back and listened to like the first episodes of the Joe Budden pod.
Yeah.
And it's insane how much they were talking about going to the club, giving Marissa a hard time about like, oh, you were dancing on this dude, and no, I wasn't. Oh my God, what are you guys talking about? And like, I feel like us it's like that. It's telling like drug stories and stuff. That's like the low hanging fruit that we just like easily gravitate towards. That we have to kind of like intentionally try to rise above because that's the easiest fucking thing in the world.
You got to live a more fulfilled life, man.
That's true. Yeah,
you got to experience some shit.
That's all that we needed as podcast listeners back then. Though.
Yes, that was entertaining.
It doesn't cut it no more. Now you have to. There's a certain amount of people you have to prove that you're good at creating some form of content now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there's like you need to like what content do you have looking back at your catalog? Like, no, they did this, they did that. Like that shit is nice. They might be fucking around over there, but nah, they mastered how to do this style of podcasting. You know what I mean? And then if you have the camaraderie, you can eat forever. We can just stop doing trending topics. Your core fan base will still rock with you.
Exactly. Like if you have that rapport with somebody, you just bounce off each other for hours. You feel me? That's like look, like I want to ask y'all: am I delusional to think that me and Raider with On a Sick One low key had that vibe? You know what I'm saying? Like
there's definitely something there.
Yeah, y'all did.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll say that I saw more of the dark room than the one that y'all shot here, though.
Okay,
the dark room.
That's our own.
I felt like you might have been. You might have been giving it up more in the other space.
Ever since Paulo had pulled up, the dark room, been a different vibe.
Welcome to the feng shui.
Ain't nobody pull up.
You been West Side. You got the bender top. You got it. The top button up is crazy. He's giving like
you don't have a shirt on
like
underneath
a lot
that,
of
man.
cocaine.
You should button just the top button.
I was thinking about it, but you know what? I can't even say foo no more, so I can't fucking button my shit like that.
You can't?
No, I'm just playing.
You just said it.
I'm about to say they confiscated that word for you.
I'm not gonna lie, Lush. I knew you were white.
He's giving coming
But
down.
when you started kicking it with him, I dead ass thought you were Hispanic, bro. I was like,
Yeah,
He can get in where he fits in.
he is really
You
like.
see him at Temple for sure. He's giving Jew.
It just depends on how clean his beard is for the day.
I'm from West LA. We're like super culturally diverse. I grew up around Mexicans. You know what I mean?
Right.
I function with Mexicans. I function with black folks heavy.
Oh no, I know that for sure.
If you went to jail, what you running?
I fuck with essays.
You running double
You
A?
Mexican
I've
adjacent.
been saying that from the beginning, but I ain't going to no jail. I didn't do nothing wrong.
I'm just saying, straight up. So,
Knock on wood, goddammit.
I have a question.
good luck on the yard.
Let's say that this mass culling of shows never happened, and let's say that G-Face had a show on the channel.
Ooh,
Do you think that we should have retired that show if that had existed, given recent events?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, you would want to be friends with him at that point.
Because he's
you
an
would
informant?
just keep him, yeah.
Well, no, you would want to be friends
You
with him.
don't piss him off. Hey, you know, I'm living life by the book, so.
So you wouldn't have given a shit about being on camera with him?
Oh, no, I wouldn't have been on camera with him. In the first place, I've been telling people he was a police.
Oh, shit.
That's why you ain't seen me with him at all. I'm just telling you the truth. I've been saying that shit. It's too much flashy shit going on for me, and I know the little shit that I do.
I'm just confused because I thought we already.
Nah, 1090 brought some new shit to the table.
It was. I thought it was from where I was standing. It was kind of already looking shaky for.
Yeah, but nobody really had like proof. Like
Yeah,
everybody
we
was telling me,
did.
but nobody really was coming with the docs.
I mean, the fact that he never said, when he said that he was never from Armenian Pride and he was from White Fence, and then they dug up the record with him dissing White Fence and him banging Armenian Pride, and then him like in pictures like yo goes from AP. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I seen it back then. Like, something ain't right.
Yeah. Too much.
Something ain't right.
I know you wouldn't want to be on camera with him. You're trying to keep your Raza card good.
Probably wouldn't be the most advisable thing.
So wait,
wouldn't be the most
he's white?
Nah,
Armenian.
He's Armenian, but they
Real
run,
miscellaneous.
they run
North Carolina,
Southside.
North Carolina perspective, Armenian, white,
Same thing.
Let's be
In
honest.
LA, Armenian Pride is South Side.
Yeah, they thrust. They Southside. They run with the
function
Mexicans.
Like,
Oh, okay.
Not all of them. Doesn't whiteface White fence.
White
face.
It's not an Armenian gang. That's
that's
right. That's what I'm saying.
Gang.
Like they beef with AP.
Right, and that's one of the oldest barrios. That's literally one of the oldest gangs in LA. They go back to like the 1920s.
But they still thresholds though.
Right.
So when they hit any jail, all that stops. Like, up under that.
Now let it be known that let it be known that Adam started the gang talk. No, I just got to witness it live.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
so many times it's on YouTube. I'm like,
how dare you?
I'm like, damn, Adam just get straight into this shit.
So tell me about your politics.
Since we're being messy, you said yesterday you want to dead a lot of speculation, and a lot of people are running with all kinds of narratives and being like, people are saying Figmunity is the reason why all the shows got canceled. Other people are saying it's because of Whack 100. Like, what do you have to say about all these false narratives? Or
what's the funniest narrative?
How could Figmunity make me do anything? They can't even make their own shit happen. Like, I just don't understand how that could. How could they possibly take that as a W? It makes no sense. They're out here floundering. T-Rel has absolutely obliterated his own fucking fan base over the last couple months. I never seen anything like it. You know. This motherfucker don't want to say anything because he know.
It's a little crazy.
He on the glazed couch and he still don't want to acknowledge it.
I haven't. No.
You got to speak on both sides.
It's a little crazy.
Brother.
It's a little crazy.
It's crazy.
With what specifically?
It's just like what the content's going. It's just really dropped in the last 6 months, man.
Say with a little bit more conviction.
It came off hot. But it was not. It didn't hold up. He had the most potential leaving here. And just overall, I would say just like podcaster skill wise, but it's two things. It's two things. What it is.
T-Rel, he do his thing.
T-Rel,
cider.
You get to him really well.
Right.
You get to him really well. And
so easy.
Yeah, and I can understand why somebody like you wouldn't stop because I like trolling the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, once I know I can get up underneath your skin, I understand you keep poking. He keeps giving into it. You know what I'm saying? I think AD like kind of elevated past that shit.
He's doing a better job. He doesn't get trolled as he does.
Yeah, he's not. You're not able to catch him. Yeah. But it's like the more you do it, you're directly influencing his actions, and he don't realize it.
I'm the puppet master. I got my hand up his ass.
Yeah. So it's like, when he does get up underneath his skin and he goes on a stream, he goes all the way every time.
And that's why it's funny that he's like gloating about the fact that No Jumper will be producing less content. It's actually a huge L for him because all of his most successful content is him commentating on No Jumper things.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have anything to say about an FBG Buddy interview that gets 1 million views in a month or two. You know, it's like that to him, that's kind of like worst case scenario is us moving away from the drama content because that's basically like the main thing that works on their channel. And I'm not even saying that's like exaggerated to be a dick or anything. That's just a fact. What are you saying?
No, I said you're what I mean. You're what I
mean. Yeah,
you should pick up a catchphrase like that and you all just say it over and over and over throughout every episode. That would probably work really great for you.
I'm honestly, no, I can't. I'm honestly about to start a shout out, like a shout out counter because it said so much. I'm trying to get
shout out to some random thing. Yeah,
it's like
I love that.
I almost want to do a counter just to see how often it happens in 2 hours.
Man,
it might be nasty. I think it's nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like,
shout out to dogs with high top fades.
I had to
shit like that. Yeah.
I had to tell Gordy that early on. Like, hey, this isn't like a Grammy speech. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
right. Just thanking everybody.
We're not thanking everybody on the show.
Right. Yeah.
You can do that.
Your mama and God, nigga.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
That's the other thing. Like that there's so many other people, and I know you can relate.
He's a fast learner too, though.
Yeah, Gordy's great, but this is something I feel like, unless you're a cab driver, what I think that like you could relate to when you have motion and no jumper, right? And you wind up bringing your other people or like forming a show, a whole entire, your independent ecosystem, your Bricc baby ecosystem is now low key eating off of and dependent off of your emotion over there. So when there's disruptions in the force, it affects a lot more people than just me. You know what I'm saying?
You saying you don't think T-Rel can ever evolve? Like,
machine in motion, baby. We don't never.
He can evolve.
Anything is possible,
he can
but
definitely evolve.
I will say that I had a lot of faith in him doing well as a podcaster around the time that he left, and I now have no concerns
Why-
about
it's-
that.
it's
Like,
like
that doesn't
true-
seem like there's any chance.
It's like true distaste you have for this nigga. Like
He's just an idiot. You know?
it's just damn. He's just stupid.
He's just a bum.
Jesus
but I have a
do
lot of
think
respect for the man of the house.
Goodness gracious.
I do think he's too mad to figure it out though. Like you ever been like lost somewhere and somebody try to give you direction, you're like, nigga, fuck advice.
Yeah.
Like let me just be lost on my own.
But you want to know what it is that he felt like for a moment there that he was going to really be the star of the show because so many things in his life have like seemed like they were going to work and then it ultimately didn't end up working. And
I don't think it's been that bad.
over and over and over with the Tiger thing, with the clothing store side of things, and then with the backup fig thing. So it's like privately he is panicking because he knows that like losing this much momentum in a short period of time is like pretty unprecedented. But in the short run, he's just like
Wasn't a
acting
short
as
period
if
of time. It's been over a year.
right. But I mean, it really started to go bad like the last couple months, and him
5 months,
silencing the
6
Reddit has
months.
been like unprecedented in terms of just like.
That was a misstep.
You
Where his mental
can't
space is.
spit in your fans' face to
that was a
that
misstep.
extent and think that you're actually going to win in the long
You
run.
gotta let them feed off you. If
Off the
that's
court,
what
yeah.
if that's what's
That's
gonna
crazy.
happen, you gotta let them do that.
You
'Cause
can decide
the moment
that-
you try to silence your audience,
You accept the
shit is nasty.
You can
You
decide
shoulda
that there
left the
are.
side tooth out, gang. You was winning.
You can,
side
but
tooth.
okay, you can decide that there are certain narratives that are too toxic for you to allow within your community.
For sure,
But to
yeah.
completely silence your community is
Yeah.
so fucking dumb that it's like I don't even want to say too much about it because
dangerous game
I want to see him go all in on it.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to like scold him too much for it. But it's pretty shocking from
It
that
is
perspective.
stupid.
You know?
You're stopping the current.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
all
what
it's
are
going to
they
do is drive
filtering
people
out?
to another platform that you don't have any control over, which
to
we've
the
seen.
people that's
I
new to
think-
Reddit.
I
I'm a
think that
BOF too,
also, like,
Reg.
with him, what I noticed is one of the biggest, most appealing things about T-Rail was that he was so nonchalant and was like, "Motherfucker, I don't give a fuck." And he would be able to laugh things off so well. So to see him actually
I don't see as much of that anymore.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But to see him
that's
get
why we
rattled.
enjoy- yeah.
But to me, that was the coolest thing about him. I was like, damn. I remember he'd be sipping wine on the news, just turning oranges in the chat.
This nigga put you in a
And
good
I was like- I
mood.
was like,
Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like,
'Cause
yeah.
you know what?
Where's that
Somebody
energy?
re-upped the
Like,
other
that's
day.
the-
Somebody re-upped the old clips of like Sharp and AD arguing over San Diego being hard or not. And I'm watching the clips, and T-Rel is like in that clip, and his contribution in that podcast was like really good, really funny. He's like the lighthearted jester involved in the
Yeah.
conversation. And I have not felt that fucking energy watching a clip from that shit in so long. Like that motherfucker lost himself. And if he gets it back, then he could be successful. But
Maybe stop making fun of him.
I kind of doubt it. If he gets his swagger back, no, I'll be proud
honestly
of
a
him.
hard position for him to be
Stella
in, bro.
needs to
When
get
you
her
know
groove
you
back.
get under a nigga's skin. It's like
Yeah.
if I'm having a bad day, I'm making sure you have one too now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's I get it.
I had to
get
go
it.
through such a serious rebrand to like condition the audience to realize that I do not give a fuck. It took so long because I clearly gave such a fuck and was so easy to rattle for so long that people were like, "Oh, I know how I could literally
Bro, you
shift
had a
the
roast.
momentum."
Bro, you had a roast, dog.
Yeah.
You literally had an exorcism in front of
didn't
all of
even
us.
sign up
for it.
You're good forever. Like, you can ask him. When I was texting him, I said, bro, I mean, if we're going to do like this No Jumper News takeover thing, I vote for Lush.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I want
I don't
Lush.
even care that your shirt is missing a button.
It's missing a whole button.
He just
whole lot-
missed the button.
I'm a whole ass Cali boy. You feel me? Like you got the flannel, the jeans and the chucks in the LA. Come on, man.
I like
it's
it.
a uniform.
Nah, I was
You
just
trying
saying
harder
it was
than Flacco.
cultish up here. It was
I'm,
like, yeah.
you know why? Because last night,
cocaine
what did Messy Marv say? I was playing with my nose
Hey,
last night. You
yeah,
feel me?
sitting on
so,
candy.
Yes, he playing with my nose.
Let's get back to your nose in 1 second. I just want to tell the fans out there that after we get done doing this podcast, approximately 2.5 hours, we are going to be doing a live stream, a separate live stream where we listen to music donations and read all the donations from the stream.
okay.
This is a stream that is not going to be archived on YouTube, so it'll just be in the moment, but we're going to be reading all the donations that come in during this, as well as playing songs, probably playing some of the shit that we fuck with as well. So shout out to everybody who's down to tune in afterwards for that. Yeah, we're going to probably take like a 5-minute break in between. Just like the glory days. That's what Came Girl and House Phone used to do, like the after show after the No Jumper show.
Yeah.
That was fire.
We're bringing it back. I'm staying out late. Let's go.
Come on.
You do got a new
Order
sense of
some food.
enthusiasm for this shit.
I'm having fun with
Yo,
it.
It's like
weight
your
off your
heart back
shoulder.
in the game.
Josh ordered
He got
some
on his
food.
overall.
It's on- yeah.
No, I like you. You're like,
just get-
I'm going to go make me a bowl of oatmeal.
Do you think? So when you were earlier, when you were bringing up like
I
going
got
in, you
the six-pack
transitioning into
bag.
this new generation of new era of No Jumper producing higher quality content. Do you think there's a reason why like somebody like a Joe, even somebody off of his branch, is going to pull their own numbers? Do you think you know why it's like that? Or
I just think Joe and them have done an amazing job at just creating and cultivating that homie crew feel. You know, they had it with Roy and Mal. It might have taken them like a year to get in the pocket with like Queen's Flip and all these other dudes, but like that to me, like podcasts in hip hop at least is like two things. It's like the homies talking about shit, and then there's interviews. And these are like basically the two disciplines that you can choose to try to master. And like I've been like kind of all in on the interview side of things for like such a long time. But when I look at Joe's success, I also think that he's ingenious for the business model that they adopted with the Patreon. Because let's be real, like they have just like a huge amount of income coming in that probably allows them to
looks like YouTube
pay for their I've seen Danny from the Stop is the one who pointed that out to me. That like you go to their Patreon, it'll have like 2,000 likes,
4,000 likes,
and fucking 1,000 comments.
Yeah,
you never see that on Patreon. You got to give it to them like that. And that business model is just impenetrable. Like they could lose their YouTube monetization. It would be a little fucking dent. It's nothing.
Isn't that low key what Plug Talk is though?
Yeah, and that is actually that's part of it. Is that my whole business model with Plug Talk is
so you saw the beauty.
Extremely simple, and I see that beauty. But okay, that's part of the thing with No Jumper is that it's all about the expectations. You can't tell your fans like, hey, I'm gonna do a Patreon, and you need to pay for the Patreon to get all this content that we've been doing all this time. Yeah. But you can say, hey, we're doing one show a week, and then we're going to do a Patreon. We'll have another episode per week. Yeah. You know, so you kind of need to like set the standards a little bit lower. Yeah. So if you want to actually have a second tier to try to push people towards, which I'm not really thinking about the Patreon side of things that much. Like we do have a Patreon. I would like to do more content for it, but it's not really at the forefront of my brain at this point.
I think one of the biggest things too that's like outside of why his cast of people is able to even break away and hold their own is because Joe he really coaches. He's doing a development with the people that's around him. These aren't just people that he's built homie relationships with. Like he's constantly molding and developing them. They might already have their own. All of them are stars in themselves, but he's the master at knowing how that star player fits in this podcast.
And I've heard him say that he rewatches all the podcasts and like does game coaching shit on it. Which
he's crazy.
I wish that
he's studying that shit.
Like if I wasn't doing so many fucking interviews, I would like to think that is something that I would make more time for. And even like,
and I was wondering, are you going to? Because you didn't do it with the last era.
It's tough.
Do you feel like you can media train somebody?
But that's why not media training, but like I feel like there's a lot of things in podcasts where you could kind of like just point out to somebody like, hey, let's rewatch this 5-minute section of the podcast and talk about what happened. Let's talk about how we didn't necessarily stay on point, or let's talk about how we kind of speed ran through the topic and we should have slowed it down and really tried to emphasize all the different details of that. Like that's the kind of coaching that I wish that I like had done more of that throughout the years with everybody. But it's like again the model that we're talking about with just putting everybody on camera because I'm so busy doing every other fucking thing. Like that's just kind of.
But I think we saw when you did do it, because that was the ADT rail era. Yeah. Y'all was locked in on COVID.
Yeah.
So y'all spent more time with each other. You developed them just by spending that many more hours with them. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you're a busy man. Interview here, in and out. You know what I'm saying? You do your shows and then it always looks crazy developing this skill on the set. Like during the show, because you always look like a dickhead.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
bad podcasting.
We should probably
it's a catchphase.
We should have a stopwatch and just like turn the camera off for a second, address the issue, then boom, turn it back on.
That's how you kill chemistry.
No, you can't do that.
That would be weird as fuck.
That's gonna be the worst.
It's all about the playback.
And you can see the coaching if you get the Patreon version.
And what about
that would go crazy. That would go crazy.
Hey,
that would go crazy.
We've now had 0 days without talking about the hops.
Yeah. That would go crazy.
That would be brilliant.
But that would be, boy, you would feel your fans that you would develop off of that. That would feel some vicious
People
shit.
Like that window into reality.
They do.
So Wack declared 10 days of peace at No Jumper.
He's just talking.
And then
do what he does best.
Okay, for the record, Wack had no idea that I was going to announce this shit. He's the last person I would have wanted to tell in advance.
Word?
No, I didn't tell him. He's going to air it out. It's going to be a Clubhouse exclusive.
It's going to be a Clubhouse.
Come on. Yeah.
Raider
white boy don't want me to tell y'all.
Raider is convinced that it's Wack.
Yeah.
He should be worried about Wack.
He's 100% convinced.
You know the white boy.
He's going to turn you into a fucking chalupa, my friend.
I I think that at the what Rader's been saying is like, you know, hood politics and all that side. He wants to run the one-on-one.
Are you serious?
That's what he's been saying.
Yeah.
Wow. You gonna take that fade for American Controller?
This is
because he's still gonna want it.
I know there's a lot more gravity that comes with that.
Yeah. You know that
You're
can't
making
happen.
it sound so fun.
You know,
Yeah, this is like,
you know,
he's cool with it.
First and foremost,
Yeah.
he's gonna turn down the fade. He's gonna have a million reasons, but the number one reason is that y'all already ops, and he's gonna play that to the fullest.
He's gonna say you can't fight a Mexican.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Without his whole hood.
It's
going
just
to war.
it's just a good excuse. I don't know.
Yeah. He's gonna say.
It just sounds good when you say it
He's
fast.
gonna say it's gang politics. They don't get head ups. That's what he's gonna say.
Who knows?
Although, like,
Christ.
if fools were able to transcend that and actually do that, that would be really cool.
It would be
That'd
great.
be dope as fuck.
Fuck it.
How long you think it's gonna? What?
No, that's what. But what I was asking was, with him declaring the 10 days of peace and then violating the 10 days of peace, being one of the first violators, right?
He's gonna break
Yeah,
the
I'm
fast.
saying, like, how does he feel about that? Because I ain't been watching nothing. I ain't gonna lie. I've been on the road. I ain't been trying to pay attention to no jumper.
I mean, whatever. Like he fucking ran up in here. He had that whole interaction with Flacco. I mean, I don't know. That was
Did
just
you
like
drop an episode after that? Did y'all talk about that in your episode?
me and him talked about it right afterwards, but I was missing the information, which was basically that it was all cap.
Yeah.
Because Spider didn't say shit about his
never.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
And fucking Flacco didn't, you know, it's like, yeah.
That's what I said when I first seen it. But
It didn't look real, especially, like, to be honest, like, I was like, damn, Flacco doesn't look like he has an ounce of fear in his heart at that moment.
Because he knows he got his Crips right there to
Bro,
protect him.
He was stoned, bro. Yeah. I was
Yeah,
like,
because
shit.
he's seen.
Yeah.
Remember how he reacted with fucking 16 shot him? He don't want a repeat of that.
He spit at that fool. Like, he was like,
Flacco was ready to fight.
Flacco
Yeah,
was
that was sick.
At least he did. He
was gonna waddle.
moved. He moved.
Give me a review of Poetic Flacco as a podcaster. Dun dun.
I think Flacco is good. I like Flacco as a content creator. I think he's figured out. I think we all recognize that. Like
Yes.
there was a moment when he's just like he figured these videos out and boom, it's popping. You know what I'm saying? But even as a podcaster, bro, every time I haven't podcasted with him much, but I've done the news with him now 3 times, and hopefully we'll do something else. I think he flows. I just haven't seen him. This is my biggest thing with Flacco. Flacco is one of the best talents here. I don't think he's ever been put with the people that know how to work with him correctly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But he's funny. He
Yeah.
goes crazy.
Yeah.
He goes crazy.
Who do you
because
feel like would
he
be
drives,
those people?
Yeah, because we've seen him with the mega gangster dudes. We've seen him
Yeah, he's
with,
great with
you
us.
know, Gina and Almighty, who are, you know, keeping it a little bit more safe, you know? It's like,
I'm gonna be real. I was just telling Flacco a couple of days ago, him and Sharp, but that was a different position Flacco was playing back then. When he first got here, they did that interview with that chick, and Flacco was like low-key hyping Sharp up, and he was like, Sharp, I don't think she realized who she's in front of. You know what I'm saying? Bro, that combo was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? So that to me was interesting. That might work, but that's also a position that Flacco might not want to play no more. Because Flacco has found his legs. He don't need to be a part of anything that's
some big old legs.
yeah,
Flacco
you know
got-
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know who would go with him right now.
Yeah.
I'm be real. I don't think there's anybody here right now that
We've all seen
yeah.
him grow so much. I know some people, and sometimes even when I listen to it, I still get a little bit hung up on the stutter. Like, damn, this is just slowing the content down a little bit
I like
too
the
much.
stutter.
But
I feel like it's a good placeholder. It's like,
but it's easy to forget how bad Axe stutter used to be, and the Act got past it.
See, I never.
Well, he had
did
a-
that.
Axe
They'll
stutter
still do it a
wasn't
little
that
bit.
bad.
he had a Jamaican
Yeah.
stutter. It was a little fast.
So it was more of
It
an
was like
accent.
dibba-dibba-da,
Yeah, it
and
was
then he
never
would
as
say
bad
some
as
words.
Flacco, but-
Check out your boy.
Yeah, Flacco got
Yeah,
the-
but
You thought he was just speaking
Flacco's
patois.
like big
Sometimes
puns,
when you watch-
breaths in between bars, you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes when you watch Act on
trademark.
stream, you'll still see him like get caught in a stutter a little bit.
He's also off the Henny. He's off the potion.
Yeah, that probably.
A lot of
What's
people
up with
stutter.
Flacco?
Flax
Really?
up.
Imagine a drunk
But
Flacco.
Flacco has
drunk as shit.
no
Yeah,
stutter
yeah.
whatsoever on his own channel. And I don't know.
Yeah,
if
but that's all
He's
essay,
reading
right?
the script.
No,
It
but
is a script, but there's 2 things with Flacco, because when you notice when Flacco is his most comfortable, the stutter is at its minimum too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he might want to say some wild shit, but it might be a little anxiety depending on who's around.
And that's why I always
gonna
feel like
gear it up, you know
I
what
feel
I'm
like
saying?
Flacco's
So-
stutter is always at its worst around me.
Exactly.
Do you notice that? Like,
for sure, yeah.
No hate to him at all, but it just feels like when he's around me, he's like kind of second guessing himself
When
because
there's
of
He's
choosing his
obvious
words.
reasons. But
But yeah, him in his most comfortable environment, crafting the show however he wants to do it. I think it'll be.
Yo, we gotta get him on an episode too, because I never really got the full gist of what was going on with him not being with the girl anymore. The girl that he allegedly spent all that money on. But did he really say that she fucked Blast?
Well, here's the confusing part.
Wasn't
right?
she a virgin?
No,
Was that made up?
So here's the confusing part.
Wait, hold on. I want to hear what Donnie said. She came out here. She went to a Blast concert. She spent a week in LA. She went home and they were following each other. But Blast, you dirty dog.
No, but here's the confusing part. Why did she come out to LA to go to a Blast concert when Flacco lived in LA? Why wasn't she kicking it with him?
They both went to
she
the
wasn't
Blast
kicking
concert.
it with him?
She had.
Flacco
They
was
went
there.
together.
Oh, they went together.
Okay.
They met Blast backstage.
He left? How did he got backstage?
Flacco knocked
I
his bitch right in front of. Blast knocked his bitch right in front of
It
him.
was like
Just
an eye knock.
And that led to him wanting to leave her.
We're putting a lot on Blast. right now.
Yeah, we putting a lot on blast.
Fuck with Blast.
We putting a lot on blast
know
right
if
after
he
he said he
knocked
would
it.
never do this again.
He's a talented dude. The idea of him taking those talents and using them to fuck Poetic Flacco's bitch is pretty insane.
Jesus Christ.
Unthinkable.
You don't know if that's still his girl yet.
No, his
But,
former girl. And we don't even know if they really piped. I bet if we asked Blast, he'd be like, nah.
But Flacco, it's like Sierra and Russell Wilson. Just because you not getting yours off don't mean I ain't getting mine off till we get married. You know what I mean? I'm a sin until I can't see it.
But bro, if Flacco can actually get
in that
pussy,
situation.
but you know what though?
Pluto.
His Muslim faith is going to stop him from doing all the ill shit. Like,
Flacco's
we're not going to be able to like, let's do a
Muslim?
Patreon episode and have Kazumi suck his cock. You know, he's going to be like, nah.
You're the only one that's
haram.
down for that.
That's
No, I am down for that. Yeah, if he was down, I'll be like, boom, here we go. This is the main event.
Yeah, that's 1 million views right there.
It's like
Yeah.
Flacco.
Flacco going Filipino, he might
Jesus
never go
Christ.
back.
Yeah, he
Doesn't even rhyme.
He might move to Southeast Asia after that.
It's crazy.
Literally. It's funny to see this shit live though, because it feel like Adam got like an entrepreneur in his head, and then it's like a degenerate nigga that should live on
Degenerate
Skid
fighting
Row,
his way
and
through
they
it
just
every time.
constantly battling. Like, it's my turn. No, it's my turn.
And then the capitalist comes and says,
yeah.
"But we can get money off that."
No,
too."
Flacco might be single. Ooh, I can get a porn star to suck his dick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Is
That's
that?
an Adam 22
You know what type
thought.
of
Yeah,
life
bro.
you gotta
Did
be.
you guys ever see the Patreon exclusive where Kazumi put her finger up that dude's ass?
Nah, nigga, we read
No.
books.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit, craziest shit
Touch
ever.
trees.
He was never seen or heard from again. He did cigar guy. He disappeared. Nobody ever saw him again. One finger in the butt, boom, whole life over.
He's probably somewhere in West
How,
Hollywood.
wait,
Yeah.
did you? Who
That's a rule
convinced
of
him?
thumb.
He was down.
Like he got.
I think he had already had his butt fingered by somebody else.
Yeah,
Was that Rick from the
he's
pop-up?
probably over there.
That's Rick from the pop-up, yes.
Holy shit, that's funny.
Big Rick in the
It
building.
just hit me. I'm like,
And that's You Ain't Hard Food.
Legend.
I don't know if you
shit.
follow the
I
Instagram
don't.
accounts, but
I don't.
My partners.
face
This is
reveal.
funny.
Damn.
You really look like a truck
Flacco be
driver,
getting
man.
dome on
Like
the
he just look
Patreon?
like he just be chilling, dog.
He look like he got 4 CDLs.
All you listen is the fucking, the truck driver earpiece, bro. That's all you.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to Rick one of these days.
We
bro.
need to. Would
Dun
Fla-
dun
would-
dun dun.
Would
dun,
Flacco
dun,
be getting
dun,
dome on the Patreon talking about? Whoa, wait.
Wait, all right, hold on.
Hold up. Stop. Okay, keep going. I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
Be
Oh
legendary.
my god.
You think
Be legendary.
you think he's gangster enough to like shoot on her face, like bitch,
Oh,
make
whoa.
her choke and shit?
We're really
Like,
working the
Oh,
scene
yeah,
out
we
right
really
now.
working it, but I
Hey,
don't.
this nut little.
I didn't know
What
it
if
was.
he started
I didn't know
slapping
y'all was
with
doing
it?
the pilot right
Yeah,
today.
Jesus Christ.
Shit, do I think he's gangster? Yeah. I think
Yeah,
you can pull it off.
I don't think.
This ain't got nothing to do with us.
He's too-
How y'all know Flacco
Man.
this well?
But I think Flacco's lap is too big for all that
He
shit.
don't wear socks with his sandals. He ain't just
Hey,
choking her out.
From the first week that he came here, Flacco has been telling me, I'm 10 inches in girthy.
Girth?
That's what he says.
Prove
and
it.
I've
You been
always
thinking about
just
it
had
since?
that description in my head. Like, that sounds insane.
So he's a fucking he's a horizontal dick?
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Flacco
Right?
ain't seen his dick in.
No, he's saying
Lord
it's 10
God.
inches and it's girthy. It's wide, but it's
and
10
girth.
inches in length.
I thought
Yeah.
you had 10 inches.
10 inches.
I was picturing like.
Flacco's catching.
I don't think you could just say shit like that without backing it up.
Why are we bigging Flacco up like this?
Why is Flacco whispering that to you?
Whisper. He just said it on the podcast.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
It's part of common.
It
was part of that. It was part of that convo. You know.
Jesus Christ.
He's referenced this several times.
You gotta prove 10, Flock. You would have been. Man, come on, bro.
You better be making money off
Flock,
that.
you ain't seen your dick in like 20 years.
You tried to call him?
I think I called the wrong one.
Hey,
I got a couple Floccos on my phone.
Last time you seen that.
I feel like that'd be somewhat of a burden at a certain point.
He's a do not disturb guy
all the time.
Yeah, he's one of them.
He's he's definitely losing weight now. So
you think he's losing weight?
That's what he said.
Truth for the details.
He needs to. He needs to look like.
He's putting it in his pants.
He needs to do like a Myron arc. He needs to look like Myron from Fresh and Fit. That's the Flacco I'm trying to say.
Wow.
He couldn't.
Yo, Flacco.
Yo, man.
Yo, we are live on the No Jumper Show. We were just wondering what your plans were for your private life now that you're a single man. Do you want us to line you up with Kazumi or what?
The stutter's about to go crazy. Watch.
Nah, man. Yo, listen. Listen. I'm doing the 20v1 right on May 30th.
With who?
Oh shit.
Like with your plug talk, like with the porn star.
You're on. Oh, you're on it with Violet Myers. Holy shit.
Oh shit. No way.
No, not Violet Myers. Adriana Chechik.
Yeah. Right. You feel me? So hopefully, you feel me?
Is she good?
You know,
she's
the greatest.
At what?
Be too.
Everything, but especially head.
What does she look like? Is she white?
She white. She look good, but the head is like. She can look like she can look like the dog, and it wouldn't matter because of the head.
When you gonna make her eat it, Flock?
Hey, listen, man. I'm gonna you feel me? Save the bitch, man. You feel me?
What'd you say? You're gonna save the bitch?
Flacco probably into some freaky
shit. Get her out of porn. You feel me? Change her life. You feel me? Make her wait till marriage.
You're not gonna make her eat it first without her even eating it. You gonna do that?
Yeah, man.
Flacco, she might not be done.
But wait, this Dr. Umar would be very disappointed in this conversation.
Man, we got a new arc.
That's not sex, Flacco.
Dr. Umar Johnson be upset. You said his name.
Flacco, would you
Flacco, how the fuck does this nigga know me?
Would you be in a serious
right?
Flacco, would you be in a serious relationship with a white woman at this point in your life?
What?
A snowflake.
Nah.
But you gonna say
he said that reluctantly.
All right.
You don't know.
You're a racist.
He's lying. He's from North Dakota.
What are you saying?
Considering now, listen. So white, no, but I have expanded my horizon, bro. I've seen 1-2 minute Dominican bitches, and I've said, okay, I can extend my range to the Dominicans.
Yeah,
wow. They're brown enough. They're brown enough.
So much respect.
When's the last time you got one off, Flock?
Bricc is let's get to the real questions.
Like fucking a bitch or beating my dick.
Man, either one.
All right, that's enough, Flacco.
It is crazy.
Either one.
Why would?
Either one.
No, the bitch.
5 months ago.
Yeah, 5 months ago.
5 months.
Yeah,
you beat off 5 months ago? Hell yeah.
That's why he did that faster.
Yeah, man. So,
oh, he practices semen retention, huh?
Yeah, he got a whole gallon
pill.
in there.
Yeah.
He got a whole bucket of Sherwin Williams in there.
A bunch of.
Ask now.
Yo, listen though. I have to put you on the hot seat, man.
Be like
Why
a
you
cow
ain't
getting
call
milked.
DW
Yeah.
Man, we already talked about that. I did call that motherfucker, and he just didn't pick up. I guess I still got to talk to him. But I did call him. He just didn't pick up. I don't know why you're trying to paint the fake narrative, but I'm kind of used to that at this point. All right, love you, Flacco.
All right, peace.
Yeah, I said I love you. You said peace.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
He curved friends.
Yeah.
Curved you.
Yeah.
Slow down, buddy. We know he's your most valuable.
You're never
I was
supposed
about
to
to
say
say.
I can't say I love you to my employee. I mean, I'm
that's how
calling
you
him to
start.
talk about his cock.
Yeah. I always tell Adam I love him before I go to bed.
Yeah. Every night I get a call before bed.
When you roll over.
This is a good TikTok.
Even I'm on Do Not Disturb. He calls me a couple times on the road, so it picks up.
Like, dude, I love you.
I love you.
Oh shit.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so where were we? Can we put the topics up on the screen? Just if anything looks interesting. We don't have to talk about ourselves.
But G-Face, that we didn't get into that.
Yeah, how you feeling about that?
How are you feeling about
I said topics, not chat.
Like, do you feel a little weird?
About what?
Doing content with him and shit? Not knowing, thinking he was a G.
I would be happy to extend my platform to him if he wants to explain himself and if he's willing to be honest and everything. I don't really feel bad about the prior interviews I did because it's not like I ever could have known that shit was going on.
I didn't say bad. I said, do you feel a little weird? Like
do you feel nasty?
It was informing. Did you believe that shit he was telling you?
Hold on, Google the definition of regret for Adam real quick.
Yeah.
So his definition is different.
What the fuck do I care? Why would I regret it? It was a good time. No, but you know who like made a statement on it? Alex Alonso at one point had like a community post on YouTube where he was talking about how we need to stop people in the podcasting environment from doing content with people that are not good in their own community, which I thought was an interesting point.
Oh, I'm not mad at that.
Because obviously it's a slippery slope. Some people are not good with certain parts of their community. There's probably people that you could think of from your hood that some people would say that they're perfectly A-okay, and some people would say, no, they should never be on a podcast. Like, is it wrong for No Jumper to platform people who are from a certain environment and are viewed as goofies in that environment? I would say that it's fine unless we are being so polite that we don't acknowledge basically like how they're viewed in their own community, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, No Jumper is a media platform. You're putting a magnifying glass on their goofy for the world to see. Exactly. And it's not like, oh, you're a representative because you're from this hood. Now this hood look this type of way. It's like, no, this fool is false claiming this hood, doesn't get respect over there, and gets...
Shout out to you clapping.
I feel like
hey, that's my Italian side.
I like that, bro. That was good.
I can't help it. Me and Lefty Gunplay got the same mannerisms.
Bro, why is he telling his ops to suck his dick?
He said, what did he say?
He said, you wearing all red, I'm going to make you give me head.
I'm going to make you give me head.
I'm like, what?
Oh, like that.
You said that?
Lefty Gunplay.
Never mind. I thought it was the first way you said it. I was like, that seems accurate.
First of all, it's literally a freestyle, and that shit, he kind of snapped on that motherfucker, too.
I only heard that one bar. I'm sorry.
Nah, I said, you and Snoopy nice cuz still got a cool relationship.
Okay, but do you put him in the G-Face category just because he like allegedly hood hopped early on in his life?
He has. I mean, it's the TC dude is going back to trial and all that. Like he's definitely that's for sure 100%. And then he didn't hood hop. He's viewed as not from over there. You didn't hear him say really fuck them dudes because y'all sided with Bricc baby and said I'm not from over there. But I want to see him on the platform
because you don't give a fuck. But if you were from his hood,
no, I wouldn't.
You'd be like, nah, Adam, don't put him on.
Adam, I said, do it. It makes sense right now. I was saying for you. I wasn't trying to be involved. I just said from, like right now.
From our perspective, I feel like the platform can tolerate people who are not good in their community, as long as it's a relatively minor percentage of the whole, right?
Yeah. Well, I also feel like if this had been 4 years ago,
this is crazy.
I was about to say,
I've been out here for a long time, man.
You see how he went from a rap lyric to like, yo, what's good with that shit, bro?
Yeah, like
Bricc baby explain it.
He's politicking on this bitch.
He hopped his hood.
No, listen, I brought it back up, but I knew Adam before all this shit. Adam just happens to find himself in bullshit ass places and knowing bullshit people.
Almost remember when fools were doing like the Bow Wow challenge and like the Soulja Boy challenge and all that? Like I feel like that would have been a challenge. It'd be like, say fuck No Jumper. Okay, fuck No Jumper. Fuck No Jumper. You know what I'm saying? Like I figured that whole video of him would become a challenge at some point.
That'd be no.
That's what I just figured. Like
said, nigga, that shit ain't gonna
I seen people doing it, but
that's
like,
okay. So it did.
As soon as I saw the video of him getting chased up the stairs, I started saying like, because I was with Kareem, I was like, bro, we got to find a banana and a 10 stair.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I need you to chase me up the 10 stair with the banana and tell me you're gonna kill me and shit. That would be so funny.
Say fuck No Jumper.
I was with my kids, so I didn't really feel comfortable doing it with her in the car. But you know,
no, I thought for sure that would have got exploited and become like a whole viral phenomenon.
Disneyland didn't stop you though. They don't give a damn
to
about
be fair,
Mickey
you
Mouse.
did say I had to walk away from my family for a second while I'm at Disneyland.
Goofy walking through in the background like,
I think, and I'm having to control my voice because I don't want the parents around me to know what I'm fucking screaming about.
That was still the best
phone.
one. No questions asked. That was still the best one.
Does Lena trip on you if you're like making like beef videos in the crib and like she overhears it and she hears you going in and shit like that?
I'd keep her very separate from that side of things. Like she will scold me if she even sees me looking at the Reddit.
Yeah.
I hide all that shit.
Oh, she don't even like that in front of her.
It's like you got a
that.
sick
It's
addiction.
just bad energy. She sees that orange, she's like, oh, hell no.
She about to make another business decision.
No, yeah. My girl
He's
absolutely
reading
hates it.
Reddit.
No, I'm trying to find. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna send it to you. Okay, well, no, I got my list of topics. We don't even need to put it on the fucking the screen.
Adam,
Moderately bad podcasting?
I think that sis is wearing the pants right now.
Who, Lena?
Yeah, he just said you can't look at the Reddit without getting beat up, bro.
Not
Shout
beat
out
up,
to my
but just-
sister, Lena.
When we're spending quality time together, that's just like bad energy
I
for
know
me
you
to be
wear the
looking at that
pants,
sort
bro.
of thing. You don't agree?
We get scope, yeah.
The same way that
it
there are
is.
YouTube channels that I hate watch, and I would never hate watch it in front of her. I don't want to load her up with that baggage.
Yeah.
You know?
Me and my
Any
wife,
oppie shit? No, I can't bring that into the family environment.
we share the TV, so she's starting to like certain podcasts and like YouTube channels. She's starting to
She's
So
getting tuned in.
You gotta.
kinda. She's at like my Drewski level.
You don't watch.
It has to be.
You don't watch
kinda-
porn
I
and shit
feel
in front of her.
that's a
Yeah,
nice
ever heard of
introduction.
Yeah, you
That's a
gotta-
nice
yeah,
introduction
she's
to
got
like
Drewski, like,
before we
yeah.
dip into some other content.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
treat that shit like a sports
Yeah.
team. It's like whatever dad's favorite team is, that's what everybody like, nigga.
Yeah.
And she's watching me every time I'm live. To see if I
So
slip
you
up.
good? Yeah, facts.
Guaranteed.
Yeah,
Of course.
That's good. You got a stenographer, nigga.
You know what is going to be the first thing we watch on the live stream part of this is Remble dissing
Oh.
the Stink Team over the Not Like Us
Yeah,
beat, which I have
yeah.
not heard yet, but I've seen that it exists, and that's pretty fucking crazy.
My little brother Smokey said it to me this morning. It's
offensive?
It's worth watching for sure. Like,
Shout out to the Stink Team. He shot a
Which
video
is-
for it? Or is,
Which-
what's
Shout
the
out to
audio?
the
means
Stink
offensive.
team. Wait, hold on.
The whole Remble,
Remble-
you weren't listening? Remble did a diss to the
Yeah,
Stink Team.
when you
over
said
the
it was
Not-
hot, you was like, yeah, shout out to the Stink team.
No, I ain't heard it yet. I can't fucking
well, it's
say
not
it's
like,
hot.
hey, I'm a neutral party, and as far as all that goes, but as far as musically, like I always felt like Remble was a spitter. I think
he's
thought he was
hard.
one of the most unique and original MCs out of LA.
That's
Like,
my man still.
Yeah,
I mean,
Remble.
I don't know. I don't meet people that fall out because personal decisions. So it's
Right.
like, you know what I mean? Like, you got
I'm
to
going
show
to San
me.
Pedro, bro.
You want to go down
Dodge
there?
City,
I've been there a million times. That's why I just think it's crazy that he's fucking from there.
but Dodge
Oh,
City.
it's just ghetto, though.
That's what I hear, yeah.
That's
I
what-
ain't been to the gutter
yeah,
ass
I was
part.
about to say, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Because
multiple-
Rancho San Pedro.
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Yeah, Dodge
yeah,
City,
yeah.
the SA.
Because I was in Long Beach for all those
Yeah.
years. We used to go over there and ride all the fucking time. So I'm like,
You never seen projects or nothing?
I seen some like shady looking area. I don't think I ever.
No,
noticed
motherfuckers go to the
Yeah.
Korean Bell and they
Yeah.
go to the viewpoint and where you can see Catalina and all that, but like they don't see the
Yeah,
other
they
side.
got
Like
projects and
it's
shit
just like
back
people
there.
don't realize there's a hood in Venice, there's a hood in all the a lot of beach front communities.
Project back there.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Bro, we went to a nice ass restaurant in Venice the other day, and when we were driving there, we were driving through some fucking neighborhoods with some fucking G's standing on the corner,
Ghost Town ain't playing.
Also
fool,
90
you feel
shit.
me?
and,
Like,
and then
yeah.
like you're
look at that.
2 blocks away from that, and boom, you're at this fancy ass restaurant on I forget what the street's called, Abbott Kin. No,
yeah, Abbott Kinney.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
I'll be
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
It's
Don't
like
be scared of gangbangers
just
now.
You go
all
on the
nice
other
shit.
side of Lincoln, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, that shit right next to each other.
Abbott, is that based off that? Is
The-
the Abbott
the-
Elementary show supposed to be? in
Abbott
that
Kinney
area?
was an explorer, like
Oh,
dude, and
okay.
he's one of the original like architects of Venice, California.
I just know
Back
that's
in
like
the
one of the
19
main streets that fucking runs from Marina to Venice.
And it used,
They
and
said
it
that's
used
what
to
the
be like,
McDonald's
Y'all are a good combo because literally you gonna let me know how dangerous it is over there.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, he was an
It's
explorer.
from
It wasn't-
Explorer.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I got everything I needed to know about that street now.
I was about to say.
No,
I got
for real.
knocked out by that bridge.
like you're,
sure I
gonna get, you're gonna get two very different LA perspectives that don't contradict each other, but are from a whole other angle when you get me and Bricc.
I definitely
When-
was on Abbott Kinney when I just did 4 years. That's-
Abbott Kinney used to be like, it was like Venice was really seedy back in the day.
No, but
It
what
was
I'm
like-
saying is, when I was living on the water.
Oh, you was- okay,
and I
you
was
was
on the
chilling.
high
Yeah,
speed
yeah,
chase
yeah.
down Abbott Kinney.
Oh, shit.
That's the crazy.
You guys walk around Venice yet?
No,
Nah.
Man, you gotta go check out Muscle Beach.
Yeah.
For
It's the
what?
weirdest thing you'll ever see in your life. Big
Yeah,
ass outdoor gym on the beach with a bunch of swole ass steroid
what-
monsters
No
just
Adam.
working out outside. Yeah, no 22 stir, but
Yeah.
these dudes just out here just stunning.
that's where Arnold
Loyal to
Schwarzenegger
Wrestling
and shit would be
Straight
out.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, we
Them
definitely.
fools ain't playing.
He
Venice
can't-
Beach, like the
Arnold
the
Schwarzenegger,
boardwalk.
Yeah, you walk
can't
around
come
there
back,
for 10 minutes, you're gonna see
He
it.
can't come back.
He
Why?
can't come back because he's
He's
pushing
banished.
at the Tookie.
But he ran off on the steroid plug. Or
Nah,
something?
he fucked over Tookie. He
Wait,
no
who
longer-
did?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
They
used
to lift weights together.
Wait,
he
really?
could have signed the petition for Tookie not to die and just get life, and he still. They took his name off the stadium in his home country and all that over that.
For
They
real?
don't believe in.
Are you serious?
Death. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
The
Let
Terminator.
me find out, Arnold.
Yeah,
you
Jesus
can't go
Christ.
You know
back
what
to
Tookie
the
Williams
beach.
is doing?
Tookie Williams dead.
I wish we weren't live.
You walked into that one too.
R.I.P. Tookie.
Yeah, nah.
Because he told us.
And you supposed to be the gang expert.
Apologies to the Crips. I've already earned my Cali banging pose with this. I can see it coming now. God damn it. No, because there's somebody I was thinking of that me and Vlad were having a conversation with about
Freeway
how.
Rick Ross?
No, but I think me and Vlad were talking about how he was chasing after the Tookie Williams interview for a long ass time and never actually was able to make it happen.
lock it in.
Yeah.
So I briefly forgot that he was dead there. Sorry, but. Yeah, so all right, I'm going to consult the list of topics. The first one that we have not touched yet, video leaks of Diddy assaulting Cassie. Let's talk about some heavy shit. A lot of us were at least a little bit skeptical because there was kind of a lack of evidence. You had a lot of personal testimonials about Diddy, but we didn't really have in-your-face evidence like what we got when we saw this tape of him and Cassie. Does this change your opinion about what you think of the man? I don't know who wants to grab the mic.
Not at all. I always thought a nigga that called himself.
I've always heard stories about this nigga's crazy. So it's like when I saw the video, it's just like, damn, like this shit is crazy. Like it's as true as it can get.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
But nah, the video was ridiculous.
I mean,
like when he sat down, thought a little bit, and threw the vase at her.
Yeah,
that shit is crazy.
You can't trust a nigga whose rebrand was to call himself Love.
Yeah.
Like that's how you know, nigga, you fake positive.
Yeah,
Like, I'm Love now.
Meta World
I'm just gonna
Peace
embody.
rebrand, you know what I'm saying?
Meta World Peace is different. You know, that's a Muslim name.
Is it?
You know?
Oh, okay,
He was
okay,
giving his
okay.
life to God,
For
Allah.
Allah.
But you know,
He did a
How
lot
is
of
that?
Diddy
How
was
is
just trying to
that
throw
a
niggas
world
off the
piece
set.
of Muslim name?
Huh?
How is that a Muslim?
It was
You gotta
for-
ask Ron Artest.
Yeah, it was for that.
He
It's
took the
for that
name
reason,
Odd
though.
at a certain point when he was trying to rebrand.
Yeah,
right? And wasn't
right,
it?
right.
Wasn't it after that
After the
gigantic
ass whooping.
fight?
Yeah.
Yeah,
After
the,
he was
Malice
drinking
in the
Hennessy at
Palace.
Malice in the
halftime.
Palace.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, he used to drink Hennessy at halftime. They said that he used
Fire.
to
You
get drunk
could just
at
do
halftime.
that?
That is
Yeah,
kinda
you
fire.
can do what you want.
Yeah, you know, if you
But-
Dennis Rodman type.
I feel like Diddy, I mean, like, it's a compulsive behavior of having power, and your significant other is supposed to be a significant other, and you're not supposed to, like, try to overpower
And
them because you're a powerful person. You got to have a soft spot somewhere. I think that's what he was about.
which inevitably ends up happening. We talked about it on the news or whatever.
Okay.
It was just like when you hand somebody golden handcuffs, it's it's
the goal.
it inevitably gets abusive. You know what I mean? Like you just start to abuse that power, you start to beat on it, start to fucking.
He
seems to get aroused by dehumanizing people, and like it seems to be just part of like his pathology of the way he treats especially people that are close to him, especially people that work with him, and this has been an ongoing thing, and we've known this for so long, and we've known, I mean, like beyond just the dark cloud which could be coincidental that shrouds his name with the death of Biggie, with the incarceration of G-Dep, the what happened with Shine, the incarceration of Shine, the death of Black Rob.
Okay, but you're combining a bunch of things that he couldn't
Craig
really
Mack.
possibly be responsible for, like the Biggie thing and the G-Dep thing was something that he's like clearly responsible
He
for.
made
I'm saying-
Dylan walk
so-
for cheesecake.
Yeah, but he explained on the pod.
That explains
Shout out to my
everything.
boy Ines.
That was Ines, and he explained that it looked a lot worse than it really was.
Yeah, of course.
What, the
Of
cheesecake?
course.
Yeah,
And now,
yeah, yeah.
and
TV
now he's-
magic. He
now
said they got to stop and get snacks and shit.
And now he's got his own cheesecake brand.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel me? He flipped the script on it. Like, but
Did
regardless.
are they eating off that? They walked to get the damn cheesecake.
I don't think
No,
making
no,
the
no,
band is
Ines.
participating.
Ines has his own cheesecake
Oh, he
brand.
does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
So he's capitalized off of it in the flyest way he possibly
He does?
But that wasn't
Yeah.
Diddy's plan. He was just trying
Yeah,
to
Of
just
course.
make a little bit at first.
Of course. No, my point is
Shit, how
obviously
did I miss
he's
that?
not necessarily handful of those events I mentioned he is partially responsible for, like the Shine thing. Regardless, Biggie's death potentially, we don't know for sure, but you know, there's a lot of strong speculation that alludes to that. But beyond that, that's just referring to the dark cloud that he's shrouded in. Now we've heard all these different rumors of abuse for years, and now giving this actual visual to it, it's kind of like, off the chain. It's the dot at the exclamation mark of like, damn, Diddy, what's really good, fool?
But do you think people are overreacting when they see that clip in the sense that they are basically convicting in their mind Diddy of every single thing that has been said about him because of the existence of that one 100%. Video? Well, is that a little bit too much of an overreach?
I think it's more so like, we see this, now everything else could be true, so let's just wait and see. But this is damning enough. Like Nigga, did you see him run through that lobby? Yeah. It's like he did it before he came through, got on the ground, bowed, picked the bag up, dragged. He didn't even make eye contact with it.
That was
certain parts of it seemed like it was in a movie.
Literally.
That's how unreal
I thought it was AI at first. So I was like, is this
and it's crazy because
real?
even if like 20% of all the stories that we heard are real, like 20%, that's a lot of dirt.
That's a big.
That shit muddy. That shit stink. You know what I mean?
I mean, the footage is disgusting at the end of the day, though.
Yeah, the footage is
really no like.
deplorable.
It's fucked up, bro. Like anybody. I mean, there's no way to look at it and be like, well, I take that back. I guess if you're the type of nigga that does that, then I guess you could look at that and be like, damn.
That wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're an average human that's like, got empathy for somebody going through that, it looked like she was trying to escape.
Nah, because I'm good. I got water. But I kind of like wonder because I have an interview that's dropping pretty soon where it was a rapper speaking like very openly about how he does not hold back when it comes to assaulting his girlfriend. And I was really trying to like push him in the direction of like, nah, like you don't really want to say that. And he was doubling down on it, and I'm just like, in the light of that fucking Diddy thing, I'm just like, man.
What do you mean he's open to it? Like he was just casually,
not even. He was just saying that's part of it,
like
their life. Like she gonna get smacked. Like he was not.
Yeah, like
punches about
I had to be my bitch before I eat breakfast, but that's fine. Like,
Yo,
shit like
that kind of thing.
Could I ask y'all a hypothetical question? If let's say you're walking down the street and you see a dude beating the shit out of a woman, would you intervene?
Not if they're homeless.
No, just like
that's their culture.
Point. Okay, let's say
they be doing that.
That's more. That's relevant to
I don't know if that's relevant in my eyes, but let's say they're not homeless.
Nah, I'm probably not doing nothing.
No,
and I'm not gonna feel bad for it neither. I'm not gonna feel like I'm not Superman. I'm not God. I can't save everybody.
Nigga, what you think he Hancock?
Yeah, nah, nigga.
What if the guy looks like Shaq? What if like you intervening makes it very likely that you are going to be the one paralyzed?
I probably try to plead with him, like nigga, you could be using these talents for something else.
Yeah. But that's intervening.
Even if you need to get on a basketball court somewhere.
My God, you're 7 feet tall. You don't need to be doing this.
Man, you could drive by like, hey man, y'all quit that in the middle of
the
Answer your question.
Like, come on, man, y'all show it out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm not saying
just ain't gotta stop.
But where does that lead to? Where does the A lead to? It leads to two things. You leaving. Or you just getting out the car and having to fight the nigga.
No, okay, I'm just saying, if they showing out like where they could go to jail and it's a couple like, hey man, y'all cool out. Like
you want to know what I think? That's the equivalent.
Motherfucker flinch at me.
That's the equivalent to telling the homeless nigga to stay hydrated. Like it's not really doing. You ain't really doing nothing.
I spoke my piece. I'm not hopping out to stop you. That's a different story. Because then if he want to do something, then the nigga did something for not minding my business.
Now if it was
if it was like we gonna do something to each other at the end of the day.
But if it was like your comrade, right? If it was your comrade,
definitely.
That's
you
a
heard
story completely.
You're saying something, right?
I'm talking about strangers.
The odds of your homie trying to kill you over that is much lower than a random person. You don't know what you're walking into. Like they could just be, they could be on I'm beating energy, and then you try to intervene. Now I'm on killing energy. You know, they can switch real quick. So
she might even try to help.
It's not only on her. It's not only on her behalf. It's on his behalf as well. Because you're like,
so what was Diddy's security guards doing? That like they want to tell the stories, but y'all was watching this shit happen.
They obviously wasn't watching the door because Cassie got out that bitch.
I feel like there was no security because they were just chilling in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right, because Gene Deal had a quote where I didn't actually watch the clip, but he was saying that she was stealing a fucking watch.
I heard that.
You know, all this shit.
Like there was possessions in the bag that belonged to him that was very prized, and so like on top of her trying to leave.
Called her a million bitches and bum assholes and all that. You stupid bitch and all that. Yeah, she trying to cuff something, get up out of there. So she know that shit don't mean nothing to you.
Yeah,
you trying to keep her on zero, bro. In the house, talk shit about her. You get what I'm saying? While you having your way.
But okay,
and he stole her from Ryan Leslie.
If you saw a dude really like brutally beating a chick, I feel like a lot of us would just snap into like I need to stop this mode, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, brutally.
Brutally.
You know, I'm thinking like I'm trying to picture like a really bad one in my head. I feel like you would just have to.
No,
if I'm witnessing a murder.
So, and because I was in this very same room a year and a half ago having this same conversation and was admonished and called a simp for saying that I would want to intervene and do.
But who are you talking to?
Who said this to you?
But you got to stand on your morals.
I think it was Sharp.
Oh, well, for sure he said this.
You was talking to the wrong guy.
Suspect and somebody else.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You got to say that around Jim.
We all could have told you what those answers were going to be, man.
Yeah, man.
I just want to know if I was.
I
completely
mean,
out of
we
pocket.
don't even have
Yeah, no,
to
you're not
get
tripping for
into
wanting
that
to
You're
protect
not,
women.
you're not tripping for that. Yeah, no, fuck no.
Yeah, when you're
But there is a certain level of cautiousness that you need to be in those situations. Like,
Especially,
you need to assess whether it's a ride by, just yell something out, a stop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was in mixed company the other day and having a conversation, and at a certain point, I was like,
Hanging out with Drake?
no, it's just like certain people started to like kind of like I saw that people were shocked when I said something that imbibed that I know and am friends with multiple pimps. And I like kind of realized in that moment, like, oh, you can't just acknowledge that in normal conversation with boring white people. Like they're just going to be shocked.
Because when you said mixed company, I said, okay, I know what that is.
There's a lot of environments in my life in which like normal no jumper shit is seen as very, very shocking and salacious.
You code switch more than most black people probably.
yeah, you do.
For sure.
Many codes.
For sure.
I'm a game genie.
Nigga, you are
I got codes.
you're a Rubik's Cube.
That's
whole
why,
code
bro, he standing on his shit. That's why it's
That's
like
real.
he go code switch and stand on that
incredible.
shit. I fuck with it. Yeah.
Adam speak Hoover and Hebrew.
Goodness gracious.
He speak all that shit.
Nah, nigga.
Thoughts, Bricc, baby.
Yeah, you learned Hoover first.
No, I don't speak that language. I don't know what
Before
they
you
got going.
learned neighborhood.
I
speak it
know
all,
Big
nigga.
Deal. He's very chill. That's
Yeah,
the only
big
one I know.
deal, dope.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Sign language.
How do you feel? Because I feel like it's more pressure for large hip hop media figures and powerhouses. I feel like the pressure is on them to denounce the video. Diddy. I feel like the pressure is on you. I'm gonna be real. I don't think they're waiting on you.
A lot of, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people, because I have no relationship to Diddy and stuff. It's a lot harder for somebody like Joe to come out and make a statement. And you saw how they edited it out because they thought that they didn't take it serious enough, which I was really interested in because to me, it's like, how the fuck do you talk about that video without taking it pretty fucking serious?
I know Charlamagne finally did a donkey.
I mean, you laughed when you brought it up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Did you laugh when you brought it up?
Did I? I wasn't trying to make it super lighthearted like that. Yeah.
Have y'all seen the most recent Christian Combs video that he put out where he's like he has a new rap song and he basically is saying
the diss?
And he's like,
we heard that,
I dare you to say no Diddy to my face.
But that kind of got taken out the conversation because that came out like 2-3 days before the hotel video.
It did, but
So all of a sudden it's kind of like, oh really? Well, different
He's
conversation.
still riding with his dad.
Yeah, I'm.
You gotta ride with your dad.
I mean, it's like shit. But
I talked to bro. I FaceTimed with bro a few days ago.
Did you tell him no Diddy?
I did not tell him no Diddy.
You talked to King Combs on
Did you tell him
FaceTime a
that
few
you're
days ago?
guilty of saying no Diddy before?
Oh, I will absolutely. I mean, like I
Did
say
you
no.
You
tell
talked to King Combs a
did
couple
you
days
tell
ago?
He
him?
did. He was telling us.
Hold
yeah.
up, you need a harder stance on this Diddy video. Though.
Yeah,
How you
what
feel?
the fuck? Yeah.
I mean, I feel exactly how I said. You know.
Okay,
I think
okay,
it's
okay.
Pretty. It's
No, you did have
feel like
a hard
obviously the
stance.
content of the video is absolutely deplorable. You know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
now,
Deplorable.
is there any type of context that can be created that justifies that in your eyes? No.
But also, how do you
I
feel?
mean, I had to get real creative, but probably not.
Okay, how do we feel about existing in a media landscape in which everybody is expected to basically like turn on somebody that they have like a multi-decade long relationship with? It's kind of interesting.
Some people
I don't,
20, 30 years.
I don't have that problem with Diddy, but at the same time, do I really expect Joe Budden to go all in on him in that situation? I mean, not really. Like, I understand how a friendship works, which is that you don't necessarily like leap at the opportunity to throw your homie under the bus, but at the same time, it's like you're not really a solid podcaster unless you're willing to have at least some degree of that conversation on camera.
And I think it's not even podcasting skill. I think it's this is one of those moments where everybody's kind of checking everybody's morality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's they trying to figure out where everybody's code of ethics are. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you as somebody with a large platform and a big voice gonna denounce Diddy? You know what I'm saying?
Because he looks like the boogeyman regardless. Like, even the fact that nobody's talking about it means he's even scarier. Like that shit is crazy.
But that's
Nobody
not,
wants
but,
to talk
but,
about
like
it.
denouncing him is not really a hot take.
Yeah.
At this point, defending him would be the hot take.
Yeah.
That's
You
true.
know what I mean? Like,
That's true. Yeah.
No one's fucking with that. Like,
Yeah, that's
nobody.
true.
Although people might not be jumping out the window and elaborating to the extent that we have, nobody is co-signing that actions. Like,
That's true.
But
But
I didn't see it, but I heard people saying that Sharp and Almighty were being pretty accommodating about it, right?
They were,
of course.
And
were
also,
definitely-
Zrel, there is no bad behavior that he will not defend. Like that's kind of his thing, is that he'll always defend somebody like Diddy doing that.
And I think that there's an element that comes into play of like motherfuckers don't want to tear down like a black icon, and there's things like
especially off of first
What
rip.
was the heat
because-
of the conversation to make him snap like that? Was it the come down off the drugs? Was she like really like, or was it him just trying to be dominant and she was just trying to get away from it? Because she like,
it looked like she was trying to sneak away to me.
yeah,
and that's what really
Yeah.
fucked him up in
Yeah.
terms of how that shit was perceived
Yeah.
publicly.
Yeah.
It looked like she was making her grand exit getaway.
Yeah, because it could have been like,
Like
damn, you keep fucking over me, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to go,
But
and that
but
probably
it's
was like
also-
the last dance.
That shit was
like,
the last scene of the movie, nigga.
Yeah,
But it's also just abuse. Like, why does people who beat dogs, like, what do you think goes through their head? It's like, it's a power dynamic. It's just, it's something that
Free
has,
Ralphie.
What was the
Yeah.
date? What was the date on the video?
Let her hate that shit.
I think it was
Nigga, that shit was
2016.
some- yeah, like
Oh yeah,
2016.
nah, that wasn't the last dance. She was right back with him. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like she's going through this shit, getting away, and going right back. That's the shit that you can't fucking fuck with.
So you got the
Like-
same perspective as Sharp, because Sharp had that pimp perspective, like why she just keep going back?
Why does she?
Why-
No,
Have y'all
it's
not
like
heard of
everybody
Because it's golden handcuffs.
No,
You
what
never
the
been a
fuck are
woman
golden
before.
handcuffs if you getting your ass whooped?
Brick, have you not
You
heard?
getting your ass whooped ain't nothing worth your self freedom and pride. Like shit, at that point, get what you could get out of getting your ass whooped. You did it anyway. 20 years later,
Nah,
you kept
but-
on getting your ass whooped
See,
that
you
long.
thinking
y'all-
with testosterone though, you a dude.
But do y'all not know what Stockholm syndrome is? It's literally like
Yeah.
people that are victims of severe
Of their-
abuse over prolonged periods.
I'm
of
not
time,
saying that
and
she
even kidnapped.
I know you
like,
can't
Yeah.
control it, but it's like, come on, how many
Nigga,
times you gonna go back?
She would
That
she
is
would have
what
been
I'm
some
saying.
poor Cambodian girl on the island if it wasn't for the like she. It's not
She's
that
still
easy.
Cassie.
It's
Bro.
literally not
She's
that easy.
Cambodian?
No, she's part
Oh.
Filipino.
Yeah, she
Oh,
was.
she all right, well,
Yeah.
wrong one.
But that's the thing about
I'm fucking around.
Speaking
We
of
in LA,
hold on,
fucking. It's a
speaking of
bunch of these niggas. Shout out all the village shout
Speaking of
out.
Asians, y'all have a lot of
Motherfucker, too.
Yeah,
Shout out my Cambodians.
yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, it's a lot of Asians.
It's
yeah.
a lot of Asians in LA. What's
Crazy.
up with
Yeah.
that? How did that happen?
A lot of Mexicans, a lot of blacks, whites. We got a whole melting
nah,
pot.
it's
going
not
on.
different.
Nah.
We're from North Carolina, so it's like it's a different.
Wait, where are
demographic.
y'all staying at?
Nowhere
Downtown
that
Oh, okay.
you know, but nigga, we walk outside.
I'm just saying there's a part of LA called Koreatown. If you're staying
Y'all
there, I would not be
probably know.
surprised if you
They're
see a lot of
probably-
Asians.
Hey,
close
y'all are in
by.
It's close
Pasadena,
by.
huh? Y'all are in
It's close by.
Pasadena,
Nah.
Alhambra area, probably.
Nah, I told him about that too.
Yeah, yeah.
They got it's a whole lot of
Everybody got sections
diversity
here.
out here, and we're populated like a motherfucker.
But-
He said it's more of them than blacks.
When
I'm
we
like,
drove- when
we-
it's just where you at.
We drove
Oh,
to
God.
Inglewood, like we drove like down Western, me and Remo, to go to Rolling Loud, and like there's areas along there where it's like 100% Mexican people, and
Yeah.
he was saying to me, because he grew up in Mississippi and shit, he's like, bro, you don't understand, like where I'm from is black people and white people, like
Yeah.
there is no area that's like no black and white people like this.
And it's not like it's not Filipinos everywhere else. It's just in like a lot of them.
Yeah,
you
but,
know what I mean?
but you
Or
gotta
like
keep in mind, like Filipinos particularly gravitate towards port towns. A lot of them are in like the Navy, naval fields. That's why the largest Filipino populations are Long Beach, San Diego, the Bay Area, Seattle, and Virginia. And these are
Yeah.
all port
that's
communities. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo,
so
you
that's
just
a lot of money
You're just
on
a
ports.
flannel filled with like snap
I-
effects. Like
Yeah,
you
no.
know,
He knows his shit when it comes to LA. for
yeah,
sure.
I
you
just be knowing
you got a lot of historical information on LA.
I don't know.
interviews
I don't know
everybody
anything
he
about
meets.
nothing. You feel me?
That's
he,
funny.
he interviews his homies once he gets around them, like all his friends. So
I'm
Yeah.
so you pick their brain.
I'm a real time sociologist, anthropologist, like
Right.
literally
Yeah.
first-hand experience based and
Sit next to a gynecologist.
bars. I'm the type. You're gonna you
Yeah.
expect all the pussy.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm a
fucks with it.
OPG right here.
I'm the type of person. I'm the type of person that if I see something once, I'll absorb the information. Not like on a photographic level, but just the information of it, and I could reiterate it at the drop of a dime regardless of my copious drug consumption.
You're like the Rain Man.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm retarded.
Y'all know for real. You're a real life.
Like Adam said, a retarded crackhead. You put a retarded crackhead on.
Nah, just crackhead.
That's a bad jacket. I don't want to put that on you. No, but I feel that way about some things. Like I can watch like a fucking rap related thing and remember like most of it. But I watched Destiny watch like he'll be learning about Israel and shit, and then he'll go into a debate and be saying the exact things that he was just studying. Like it's just scripted into his fucking brain. And when I learn about most things, it's not like that at all.
And people like that think they're smart.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely a kind of smartness, you know.
But not really. Like, just being able to remember information and say it isn't smart, but actually understanding it, especially with the Israel. I know the video you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
But it does equate. It is a form of intelligence.
Nigga,
it's a form, but the person who made the original thought, like, that's who's provoking.
No, but when it comes to something like talking about the Middle East, it's like you're basically up shit's creek unless you're coming with a shitload of historical knowledge, which is basically why I am just kind of opting out on having those sort of conversations. It's just not really my bag. I don't need to be talking about it.
If you haven't read half of the Bible, half of the Quran, you probably shouldn't be talking about it.
That's how all the political landscape is, I feel like. And, or political topics. It's like, it's hard to get in because you have to be so knowledgeable.
That's why I don't really want the smoke of like sitting down with Candace Owens, because it's just like, I already know what's going to happen. She's going to fucking run me over with her facts and her stats. And what the fuck am I bringing to the table for that conversation?
That's what happened when you had Fuentes on with Flacco and
exactly. Lesson learned, yeah.
But the thing is, ability to regurgitate information, although like we said is a form of intelligence, to me, the most important form of intelligence, which I lack to a certain degree, is common sense. And being able to have common sense and really know how to maneuver in any situation. That's an application.
That's just character development. That's not intelligence.
But it is though. It's how you actually utilize your knowledge and maneuver with it.
Yeah, which is why we saying regurgitation, that's not valuable. You got good recall, but if we made you make a decision right now,
I would suck.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's a form of intelligence. It's part of the arsenal. But
most people that think like, okay, I remember this information, they're overzealous in their IQ. Like in terms of what they think they actually know.
It could give somebody an inflated sense of intelligence, which really having an ego and putting yourself above anybody else, that's the dumbest thing anybody can do off rip.
And shout out to Destiny. I saw that video. That shit was... It was two older white dudes.
Destiny is one of the only people I feel like I've had a conversation with where it's like, damn, this fool's gonna like he could damn near talk a full circle around me.
He can snap faster than you.
People that can do that. You know what I mean?
Like, I can't watch too much. I do enjoy it sometimes, but it does feel like I just get to the point where I'm like, he just wants to win. He's not really trying to have no conversation.
Yeah, man.
You gotta like, especially in debates cross content creators, it's like
it's just
we're
funny
not
to me.
having no conversation.
I got into watching Destiny because of like him doing the red pill stuff and like basically arguing with those kind of people, which is like very approachable. But then now like the current wave that has been on of just doing like constant like foreign policy, I'm just kind of like, this is just not really useful to me at a certain point. I don't really want to be learning things that are gonna not aid me in my overall career.
Everyday life.
And also like it's really difficult to obtain that knowledge without having it be through a skewed perspective, because
I can't take your
word once
for
you tell one person and you go to somebody that coming from the other standpoint, they got their side of the story, and it's like, you know what, I'm gonna leave that to you guys. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like I can't side with either side. They've been fighting over whatever they've been fighting over way before.
This isn't even This is a 100-year-old battle type shit. Like it's just popping again now.
1,000-year war.
Yeah, it's more than that.
Yeah, right.
We're fake talking about it right now. What does anybody sitting here know about this?
Nothing.
Bro, we haven't said shit.
It's literally saying we ain't said shit. That means
we're just
something.
saying shit right now.
But the desire of a lot of commentators is to be able to break the conversation down to like, oh, these are the good guys and these are the bad guys. And it is so much more complicated than that. Right. That would be like us saying the Hoovers are the bad guys and the it's just useless. It's like,
it depends.
That analysis does nothing for nobody.
Magneto was a good guy in the X-Men to me. I don't even think Magneto was wrong.
Yeah, it depends.
Malcolm X.
It depends on your perspective.
What about Juggernaut?
Juggernaut is
Juggernaut turf hopped recently. First of all,
what?
His down with the X-Men now. Yeah, if you watch X-Men '97. Like,
oh, really? I want to check that shit out.
I thought that was
dope.
Yeah.
Is the X-Men '97 shit sick?
For me, I'm a fucking nerd, so I like that shit.
You fuck with '97, the new one?
I fuck with but me personally, the X-Men animated series.
The original.
That was.
What's that shit on
Even
Hulu?
Pride of the X-Men. Yeah.
Is that on Hulu or something?
Oh, some shit like that.
It's
Yo, he's on Disney Plus or something.
Bro, I'm about to watch that fucking Black Twitter documentary on Hulu. I might be the only white guy watching that shit.
I'm surprised they didn't ask you to like give your take in that.
Because you definitely feel
Adam, what you think
Yo,
about
I'm the
Black Twitter?
juggernaut of that fucking documentary.
Jesus. I'm trying to get my Twitter back cracking. I just don't know how to tweet every day.
You just need a bunch of Kendrick and Drake hot takes.
YouTube's more powerful.
Tweeting is unnecessary.
Nah, but
Tweet
no,
like,
I like to tweet dumb shit.
Tweet like,
Well, that's
They locked me out of
damn, the West Coast back up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm
you're
next.
lit.
Lock up,
I'm next.
lock up.
There's so many people trying to use that on Twitter.
What the fuck?
Or everyone from Detroit's like, oh, that's Sada Baby's flow. Everybody from the Bay is like, oh, that's Slimmy B's flow. That's
Wait, really?
Oakland flow.
Oh, what?
Everyone from LA on fucking Not Like Us.
Oh, so there was a version of that conversation happening for every other
Ask
state
anyone
as well?
From Detroit, they're like, that's not Draco's flow, that's Sada's.
What?
And then other people be like, later in the song, that's
Are
Sada's flow.
we safe to say all those flows originated in California? And got
I'm not
twisted?
mad at that take.
Like, let's just. It
But-
is. Detroit's hard.
Okay,
They
so-
are twins.
so
but
they are
that's
twins.
why we fuck with it.
That leads me into a good question for them. Is No Jumper less relatable from y'all perspective because we like over discuss LA artists?
I'm not gonna lie. A couple like 30 minutes ago when y'all was talking about Skinny Lopi or whoever, like, I had no the fuck. I was like, nigga, this is confusing.
There's
That's
points of time where
understandable,
y'all might as well be Korean too.
Yeah, nigga, it's crazy.
Like, nigga, what?
So
But it depends, though.
So
It
we're supposed to
depends.
talk about Little Brother and
But
the
not at the
Baby or
same
what?
time. Like y'all need
out
to
to
talk
Little
about.
I mean, I
like
wouldn't
that.
want
Shouts to Little Brother, by
Hey,
the way.
shout out to Lil,
Shout
shout
out
out
to
to Lil
Lil
Brother.
Bigelow,
Shout out to
come
Lil
on.
Brother.
Shout out to them. I'm from there.
Yeah.
I don't
Shout
want
out
to
to
talk
rap-
about them
Yeah,
right
shout out
now.
to all
Shout
the
out to
niggas
Rap
rapping in
Portraits.
the
They just
fest.
did a documentary.
What
on them.
y'all
It's
listen
fire.
to the shit that come from Atlanta then, right?
That's
Basically.
everybody though. That's
No,
not
I'm
even
saying,
special.
I'm saying right there is the Southeast region.
Nah, I mean-
or y'all
Nah, but
coming
North
from up
Carolina's
top?
got some talent.
I don't think he's talking about music. He's talking about podcasting, right?
No, you talking about.
You talking about music?
Yeah.
You talking about music, right?
We were talking
Just in
about
general.
music. You
Well,
were
I'm talking about
LA
podcasting
artists.
about music.
Yeah, you were
Gotcha.
talking about podcasting about LA artists, and I'm like, who do y'all listen to over there?
Shit. Literally, like, for me, I don't want to say it's a bunch of down south niggas, because I listen to New York niggas like Griselda and whatever the fuck, but I like Future predominantly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Future, Thug.
But when you go to y'all clubs, what's y'all underground mainstream?
But
If you get what
but
I'm
y'all
They're
are
not
not
playing
as
that
regional
shit.
as us, where there's all
Yeah.
this like LA
They're not
specific
playing
shit.
it.
Y'all don't
North
give a fuck,
Carolina
right?
is different.
No, yeah,
Nah,
like y'all
but
actually
like-
have shit that's cracking only over here.
No, I'm
That is
talking
not the
about
case
what
over there,
music
like,
is over there.
music-wise.
Is it drill shit in the club, or is it fucking?
Oh,
all
I get what you're
Atlanta
saying.
and South
Yeah,
East Florida and all that?
I
It's
don't even follow
both,
it enough, honestly.
but more south.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Kind
The
of
baby
like
holds
Florida.
down like
yeah.
Charlotte and like that sound of music. He holds that down. We got J. Cole. J. Cole holds down the lane that he holds down.
feel
So
me?
it's like
But it depends though, because
Yeah.
it's like some clubs you might just hear straight stunning for Vegas type shit.
Yeah.
You know what I
it
mean?
depends on
Whatever
what
you
it
classify
depends
that
on what
as.
town you in.
Moray and shit. Like,
Nah, well,
Remember
I'm pretty
him?
sure
I
somebody.
don't know.
What's going on with him?
More
I
the
don't know.
dude that had
Alabama.
the quicksand song.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all
Remember
he
that?
is.
Big dude.
I think I might have done his first interview.
Hey,
or-
me and T-Rell interviewed him on No Jumper.
Oh, you guys have him on after too, yeah.
He got into it with the label as soon as he got. I just watched the death of Murray on YouTube.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Damn, they eulogizing
Was
him?
it-
What the
was it-
fuck?
was it
I
Patrick
mean, he
CC?
got into
Probably.
it with the label as soon as he got there and got to popping it too heavy. and
Really?
they shoved him.
His career was quicksand.
The answer is
That's what
the
they
answer to
said
your
too.
question, though,
That's what
is-
they said.
No, but it's difficult to when you lead with when your first song that really blows up. It's kind of the same thing as Designer with Panda. Like, how do you follow up a record of that magnitude?
Yeah.
That was too big.
But when other people do it, it's like you just do it that way.
With
You know what I'm
Timmy,
saying?
Timmy,
It's like
Timmy.
it really is just
Sugar Ray did it.
being
Ice
good enough.
Spice did it.
Every morning.
There's
Yeah.
a halo hanging from the
Hey.
corner of my bitch's four-corner bed. Before I fuck that hoe. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Shouts to Mark McGrath, baby. Run it up. Come on.
You know, he said he's fully
Babysitting
fully
that
gray.
shit. Hit that shit fool.
He's fully gray, and he tried to abandon the frosted tips, but he couldn't do it. He had to bring them back because that's
He
like
has
his,
to.
that's like Coolio with the fucking rest in peace, but with the two things.
yeah.
That's like Crisscross, one of the homies, rest in peace, for if they started wearing their clothes frontwards. We don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, yo, I was thinking
Yeah,
of
now,
putting
where
these
you back
overalls on
pocket at?
backwards this morning. Yo, this shit sucks for when you gotta pee.
Yeah.
And I take a piss like every 2 hours.
You gotta piss like
once in a while. Not all the
I thought that was like a everyday thing.
Not here.
like a
At home, yes.
You empty your bladder. Then.
At home, sit down to pee. Here,
you just gotta piss like a toddler.
You remember when a certain glasses wearing employee used to talk about pissing on the seat and not cleaning it up, and he was like trying to justify it?
Bro, okay. Now that it's been so long, can we? Okay, do you? Well,
I thought that was a rhetorical question. I thought he was talking.
You used to do that, bro.
But do you remember the whole Pissgate controversy of somebody was pissing on the seats?
And it was him.
Did that ever actually? No, but we never revealed this. Like,
we didn't?
There was cameras and fools figured out.
You
And
guys
You can't put a
put
camera in the
cameras in the
bathroom. There
bathroom.
better not have been a
No,
That's
camera.
illegal. That's
Hold
illegal.
on, there's no live feed of the dark web in China. No.
Oh, wow.
No, what I was saying.
That would be a good monetization strat.
That would. Be,
Yeah.
Okay. Come
Be
on.
a good
John,
extortion
get
The
on.
strat.
no jumper
Patreon piss
Live.
cam. Yeah,
Ah,
perfect.
you see me
But-
throwing up. Like,
Little dump. As long as you're not shooting up.
Yeah.
Getting your little dump on.
Nah, but like literally, there's this whole thing, and it was okay. Well, we know who was there this day, but it was so it's now confirmed that urethra is the urine.
It might have been a different piss gate because I remember him like straight up telling us like, no, I don't need to put the seat up to piss. I can hit the hole right in the middle, and us being like,
definitely him.
what the fuck are you talking about? Like you're not, like you're spraying the whole
It's not
fucking
even-
bowl.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Even
that's
with the
I found that very offensive.
yeah.
Also, us getting black toilets seems like a cool aesthetic decision.
I was about to say, it
Little
felt,
porta potty-ish.
yeah,
you take a
yeah.
shit, you look down, you can't even tell if anything came out
Yeah.
because it's so dark.
ideal.
Your shit just like falls into that water, and you can't see anything.
But it's like, but you know, people think
Or
that like,
correctional
if your
facility.
car is black, that it gets less dirty, but really dirt shows up on darker cars more than it
Yeah,
does on
especially
white.
with the black,
You know?
Yeah, that is a good
I don't
point.
know why, fool. I know scientists.
But since we're talking about the bathroom, there's like a little locker outside the bathroom that says plug talk and it's locked. And I was scared to touch it.
I think that's just a sticker. This is the plug talk room, and all of the stuff that you probably don't want to encounter, such as bottles of lube and large dildos and shit, would be in this room exclusively.
gotcha.
So that's the room to steer.
Oh,
to
why
avoid
did I was today years old when I realized that there's now a wall here.
Yeah.
There used to
Oh,
not-
this used to all be open.
Yeah.
Oh, this was open for a long time.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? And then they got too many complaints that plug talk was live.
No, we would never do
Yeah.
both at the same time. We would definitely be hearing it if there was anything like that going
Like
on.
legally,
yeah.
the fucking
Like
does the
you
office
just
have to be
killing
emptied
it.
out before you
we
start
we
doing
do
stuff
that.
like
Well, that's why it's great that we have two sides to it.
Yeah.
Well, you heard me piping?
Yeah, right.
Really?
You talk about you just be killing it. You definitely hear it. Chill out.
Okay, but when you're filming a porno movie, you can't be like you can't be like stealth fucking. What?
Hey, yeah, stop with the
I
bullshit.
missed it. I missed it.
You out here.
He just laughed way too hard. I don't know
You out
why.
here.
Because you acting like you just piping them.
Yeah, you out here.
We have no choice.
No, but when you're fucking on camera, you gotta straight. You gotta be doing a lot of grunting and shit.
You gotta overemphasize.
I ain't even
the
thinking
moment.
about
You
that
gotta
shit.
convince
You
the
talking
people
about
that you want to
yourself.
be there.
Oh, shit.
You gotta grunt.
Because they say you're averaging 4 to 5 minutes.
What? No, I need at least a solid 15.
All right.
If I do 4, it's a bad day. Like I fucked up.
You take performance
You did
enhancements?
it 4. You're the worst. You had to be
Just
the
electrolytes.
Just electrolytes.
So that's
I'll
different.
just like start
Meal
thinking
prep.
about things that really like turn me off. You feel me?
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
like,
That's a
you
great
know,
move.
Yeah.
You stare at the ceiling.
Old lady's varicose veins. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
whatever.
That's,
you know,
that's what turned you on?
might
no,
get
turn me
up.
off. Fool. Like
And then,
I'm about to say, that's
and then
oddly
get off
specific.
faster than that.
I'm like, oh shit, oh, it's gonna make me nuts.
You need to always know in your head, like, what's the hottest part about her that I can focus on if I need to get hard, and what's the grossest part that I can focus on if I need to, like, cool shit off.
her pussy is tight, but it smells. Her pussy is tight, but it smells.
Yeah,
Type
exactly,
shit.
yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Man, you're the best.
It's a cold world.
Tips of the trade. I think you'd be a great
You
porn
gotta
star.
stop fucking the bitches with them
If
things.
I
about to
shed
say.
like 40 pounds,
I feel like I could convince you to do porn.
if I was like, dog, I probably went the furthest of anybody on the No Jumper staff.
You did.
On a, yeah,
you did.
Oh, and the
You
Patreon,
did.
yes.
I
keep
forgot
it a
about
full
that.
bundle,
You did.
you feel me? But if this was like, if
Even
I
the
was
shit
single and I wasn't relationship, married, like in love, Lush, like I would have, like that would have turned into something else probably.
Why you say that like you a character now? Romantic Lush.
Yeah.
It's a different side of me, because if I was single, I'd probably be out here doing what the fuck I'm like and feeling myself, because I'm no longer like sober, restricted,
we should bring those back.
Tenuous Lush.
But how do you square
that Lush doesn't sound fun.
How do you square having a kid on the way and also being in the drug realm? Like, it feels like the kid thing should probably open the door for you to maybe take a step back from doing an 8-ball a day.
No, the kid
I don't do an 8-ball a day. It's more like 2.5 grams. No, I'm just.
Oh my god.
No, I'm just playing. No, nothing like that. To be honest with you, one of my homies said it the best the other day. I was like, because he was referring to me on No Jumper now, and like how much more entertaining I was referring to it, and he's like, bro, it's not even like that. It's like, this is more you. Like the sober Lush that existed for 3.5 years.
But that's what your drugged out homies are supposed to say.
Like my boy's not even like that. You feel me? Like
he's been like that for so many years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I honestly, do I show up late?
No, you've been good.
Am I decent on the pods?
I actually
ESPN.
I can count on Lush showing up like almost exactly like 5 minutes before every pod.
Boom.
It feels like that's your average at this point.
You know what I'm saying? Like I got solid homies with me. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like 25 minutes after, so it's like.
But you're not doing the crazy stuff that you used to be doing.
No.
Like you off a little snow. It's all right. It's just an enhancement for you.
Okay,
yeah.
I have a question. Here's a good question from you guys' perspective as our consultants.
Okay.
When you look at No Jumper, what should No Jumper do to succeed in the long run from y'all perspectives? Or even just in the short term? What do you think No Jumper needs in order to maintain its place or regain its place even in the culture?
I think hip-hop culture?
I still think we're fine.
So that's what
they're haters. They might frame it as a regain.
So I think you got the ball moving with the decision you made today, or was that yesterday?
That was a good first step.
That's the first step.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about doing video essays again? Because I went back and watched some of the old ones that you were doing, and as I was listening to them, I was like, I haven't heard this nigga this excited to say shit.
See, that was COVID. COVID was like, oh shit, I can't do interviews, so I'm gonna do all these video essays. Was hitting some fucking serious numbers for a while with the Brian Pumper shit, the Selena Powell OnlyFans review, all this shit I was doing at the time. I do love doing that shit, honestly. It's just like I can't do that and then also be a podcaster at the same time. It's just like too much of the same thing.
You ever figured out a way to merge it? Because you could take what you do there and try to put it in a podcast format somehow.
I feel like
it's not going to be easy.
We took a shot at that with the Danny from the Stop Doing Videos on No Jumper, and it kind of like transformed into a very specific thing very quickly, which was basically just like reporting on the drama and everything. And I felt like the fans didn't fully 100% go for it. But I do feel like there's got to be room to do video essays that kind of like take the interviews and like do something with them. Yeah. But as far as like turning it into a content machine that would constantly be able to like sort of churn out content, I don't know. I'm kind of doubtful.
Well,
I think it'd be dope. I think
it would be dope. It'd be a little hard to pull off though, because you really need somebody who's like on their A game to be doing it, you know?
And what do you want from your business? Like, do you just want to save money, or do you actually want, like you said, to bring No Jumper back to its, whatever days?
I think, we want to create the best possible content, but then also at the same time, it's like we got to run a business that actually makes sense to be putting so much time and energy into it. And if that means having less people behind the scenes or less content overall being created, I'm very open to those things. It's not like, it's not just like I need to save money no matter what. It's just like I don't really want to run a business that is not making sense in the long run,
I think like like he said, the first step that you did, which was like trimming the fat, I think was good. I think my first question is, do you want to be recognized as like No Jumper hip hop platform? Because I think there's a disconnection there too. You know what I'm saying? So like because even when you had brought up the big three of media, and it was like the conversation kind of got lost in that moment when it happened, but it turned into the big three of media and the big three of hip hop media. But media, we can put you in, but hip hop media, I don't think anybody's looking at a No Jumper take for hip hop.
Well, guess what though? Guess what? There's nobody in the hip hop media space that knows as much and has experienced as much in the culture as I have. I'm not saying that there's people that there might be.
Yes, no, hold on.
You think you got? Well, hold on. I don't know because
Hold on.
I've analyzed that statement and I do feel like you're correct.
Hold on. Like literally, I've been in this culture since the 90s.
No. Hold on. Hold on.
Inside, outside.
Let me finish real quick though. So that's cool. I know you're knowledgeable, and I was happy when you came back because I think in the midst of that conversation happening, the big three of hip hop media, you gave credibility back to it in terms of your knowledge of it.
Yeah.
But we're not going to you first. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know you're really like that.
But he'll acknowledge that Joe Budden might be the more charming podcast or anything. He's just saying from a pure knowledge standpoint, he might take the cake.
I know he's like, and I know you're like that. You know what I'm saying?
Pass me the rock, put me in those combos.
Before he came back, it was like, there was nobody holding that side down. So I think if that's something that you want to be included into, you don't have to be. You're at a point where you've done so much so well. You've transitioned from every dark period that we think that we've seen you have.
But okay, this is the weird thing that has taken place with hip hop media in general is that when you look at No Jumper, like the storylines that we've always been documenting and obsessing over are usually the lesser told hip hop storylines. Like even the podcast when it was kind of at its peak, me, House Phone, AD, it's like that wasn't necessarily like you weren't coming to us for the most serious hip hop discussion at that time. What's happened in the past couple of months is that the conversation about hip hop has become so focused on these gigantic beefs that nobody can avoid that does kind of put No Jumper into a weird place because we are always the place that we might talk about G-Face for 30 minutes. And it's for the No Jumper audience, that's a character that they're quite interested in and they want to see how that saga plays out. But obviously to the mainstream hip hop world, what the fuck are we talking about? You know? So it's a little bit of both. Like, I would like to, when a serious hip hop topic is going on, like I would like for us to be able to do more or be able to, kind of be viewed as like more of an important platform in that kind of lane. But that does take a lot of like very specific work if you want to be the academic. Like you kind of saw with academics how powerful the live stream thing is because he basically had a monopoly on all of the breaking information for the Kendrick and Drake shit because he was so locked in doing those live streams. I'm not saying that Joe Budden and them didn't have viral takes as well, but it's pretty tough to have the viral take when you have somebody who's doing all the groundwork. And 20,000 on like the lightest day.
And all the chat brothers are in there fucking feeding information.
For sure. Like it's hard to ignore like how much academics sucked the air out of the room, throughout the Drake and Kendrick thing because he basically like set himself apart as like the only voice that was really doing shit that people felt was like essential.
But also people like the fact that No Jumper isn't mentioned in that conversation or people want to like downplay No Jumper's contributions when literally like you can name the amount of artists that are considered the legendary icons of this era all got their fucking first break on No Jumper. All got brought to fruition on No Jumper. So I think that gets overlooked.
I've been listening to all the new releases every Friday, trying to stay in tune for it. So when the hip hop conversations come up, we could go crazy because like we haven't discussed like Gunna's album. We don't really go through the new releases that come out every Friday.
Because that would take a degree of planning because I didn't even listen to the fucking Gunna album. So like, I'm useless on that conversation. But what I will say too is that it's like, in terms of what I'm interested in and what I'm excited about, like I just did an interview with Vaughn off 1700. That's like a super important interview for the Chicago drill scene and doesn't really matter for the rest of the fucking, hip hop landscape. I just interviewed Trap Dicky from South Carolina. I don't even know if y'all know about him. He's popping. But like, I like telling the lesser told stories and rap. Exactly. I never looked at myself as like the person who's having the most important discussions about what is the fundamental most important shit in hip hop. I think it's way more important that we're just excited about it because I feel like the audience will develop like a level of affection for the shit that we are excited about.
So moving forward, I think you should double down into that.
I agree.
And I think it'll play a two-part thing for you. It'll one stay to your interest, and that's a legacy play.
And how long? But how long do you feel like? How long do you think it's going to take for your audience to understand and to like kind of get normalized to this new version of No Jumper?
I mean, to be honest, it's the same shit. It's just a little bit less and less of the content that to be honest, was kind of like the forced content. Like, y'all need to show up and discuss whatever the fuck's going on. Like, I would like, if we're going to do a bonus episode of this shit on Thursday, we should really have like a list of shit that we're excited as fuck to talk about, you know? Otherwise, let's just not do it. Like,
and that was like really the premise of beyond like me and Raiders chemistry of like the whole On a Sick one, is because like you said, we live in Los Angeles. It's like a 70% Mexican population over here. You know what I mean? Like, there's a huge portion. If you went to any of the No Jumper live shows, predominantly Mexican people showing up. Would you say that's fair to say? Like,
oh, hell yeah.
60 to 70%?
Any type of live show you throw, rap,
any rap show in the entire
Southwest
Southwest region, from LA, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. You're going to see predominantly. If it's a fucking UG, even Bun B was saying, like, like, I have more Mexican fans than I do black fans in Texas. Like, Bun B fucking said that. So with that being said, catering to that and trying to create, like, an outlet for those people, you know, for that demographic on this platform was something that I was really excited about and want to continue to explore.
Do you think the West Coast is big enough for y'all to just double down on that? For y'all to just be the media mecca of this side of America?
I think they are.
I think that
y'all are, but like that, it seems like y'all want to be considered as more than that. You know what I mean?
Well, there is the West Coast shit, which I feel like
we got Chicago and
more than any other city, we do a great job, I think, of documenting LA and getting all the artists right as they're starting to bubble up and stuff. But then I feel like we also do like an unbelievable job with Chicago, New York type drill type shit. You know, it's like, really, how many scenes are there in the country aside from just like random artists that pop up? How many scenes are there where there's like a consistent, extreme amount of interest? To me, it's like New York, Chicago, and LA.
Well, they try to tell you that they're
Detroit,
from
sure, but that's more
the West Coast for real. Like,
I don't know if the people are as fascinated by like Detroit overall, like Detroit politics. There's just a shitload of like super popping artists coming out there because there's crazy gang drama
for sure.
And Detroit
doesn't really like reach the level of like a general interest.
But they don't get to hitting the net with it
because all the popping rappers are not on that.
And a lot of the politics in Detroit are Chicago and LA gangs, and you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of GDs, Vice Lords, Bloods, Crips, all that.
Kinda.
There's a lot of that shit. There's not that shit out there.
It is, but that shit like some click on click drug dealing, sliming. They robbing and sliming motherfuckers out, getting get back from, you know.
Right, but even Chicago like is deviated from, you know what I mean, the traditional gang structure and is like block to block and.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is though, like, the GDBD thing up there, the Vice Lord, I doubt it. It might be a couple Crips and Bloods, but I don't know if they really just sliding off of that.
But okay, from my perspective, like the way that somebody like Ack treats, you know, Cardi or Youngboy or whoever it is as like the center of the fucking rap universe when they have some shit going on. To us, to me, it's like, I'm not as interested in going for the stuff that is the biggest shit in hip hop. To me, it's like, if Lefty Gunplay is saying you wearing red, I'm gonna make you give me head. That to me is like just as much like because Lefty Gunplay is like a relevant character in our universe, even if he doesn't make sense to somebody from New York or whatever. Like, I feel like that's kind of like the No Jumper strength is like world building and character building and creating shit that people are gonna be interested about that doesn't necessarily need to converge with like mainstream rap. It's just in the Drake and Kendrick era, it's been hard to talk about almost anything else because that shit has been so big.
Finally, there's an exciting like actual hip hop conversation because there hasn't been for a minute.
No, hip hop's kind of sucked in the last couple of years, honestly. So but
even the game dates Rick Ross.
See, we could have talked about that if we had kind of like planned towards it, and that's what I think is important is we got to like be shooting topics throughout the week and like really like working on the shit that we're gonna talk about so we can really come like armed with opinions, you know, because a lot of times we kind of slack on that.
And what's just gonna help the No Jumper? I mean, you've canceled the news. Like the news will probably burn the topic out 2-3 days before you even get to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
but don't you think like with the news that people are dying to see like specific people talk about shit and not just like whoever happens to be on the news that day?
It's just not every day of the week. It shouldn't be every day.
Yeah.
Or what about the old format of the news when it was, you know what I mean, when it would just be like little pre-recorded clips?
Yeah. We were basically just doing that because Snapchat like had convinced us that was the only kind of content they wanted on the platform, and now Snapchat is kind of like whatever, you can do anything. But
as long as there's a body of water next to it.
Well, with the butt. That is the thing.
Water.
Yeah, butt water. Fuck, what was I about to say?
No, as far as the news clips, being the shorter news clips.
Oh, what I was gonna say is just look at how Vlad does it. If Vlad, like the Kendrick and Drake shit, He does an ACK interview, he does a me interview, he does a whack interview, he does a Trey D interview. Like, he just brings in whoever the fuck he wants to talk to that week, and he talks about whatever is going on in the media, and he gets a bunch of topics of people talking about it. Now, granted, it's like that is like Stone Age level content release in comparison to academics just going live, you know?
Right.
But he's got his method and the shit works. And I mean,
what do you feel like is your... Because that's everybody's staple. That's Vlad's staple. Academics got his staple. What do you feel like your staple content is?
Interviewing underground artists / like, you know, street level artists that other people aren't necessarily given like the most fair shake to, as well as, you know, the camaraderie element. Although I feel like now we're kind of trying to take the camaraderie and sort of shove it into like a tighter packaging that would be able to not necessarily have to be like as much content. That's kind of like the main thing that I was trying to accomplish this week, and I feel good about it. I seen a clip of academics talking about it. I only saw this like 10-second clip on the Reddit, but like all he said was, sounds like Adam's just trying to make the content better.
I was about to say,
and I'm like, yeah, basically, like it's interesting how he like instantaneously saw that, because he's not somebody who's completely like hooked on the dopamine cycle of seeing people argue on the fucking news or whatever, which if we were to listen to the Reddit, that is what we would double down on. Myself personally, I'm just a little disillusioned with it.
How do you feel about the fan reaction so far? Because I've been seeing there's a lot of niggas that's saying that Adam 22 ruined their 9 to 5. There's gonna be nothing to listen
to. Can't watch the news no more. They said that's what gets them through the day.
That's what gets me through what I'm going through.
I mean, as much as I think we've made progress in terms of the view count on the news over the last year, also it's like, if you're really telling me that this was so important to you, then you should have been fucking telling all your friends to watch it over the last couple of years. Because this shit is just not, like, I believe him. But it's like, okay, if there's not like a sizable number of people who feel that way, then it's not necessarily going to reach the point where it makes sense to produce that content.
The Reddit is going to be the most vocal audience always.
Yeah. Those are your super fans.
In terms of running a business, the minority, you can't be swayed by that.
You got to love the super fans. You got to respect the super fans, but you can't act like they know 100% what's right. You have to have the courage as a content creator to fly in the face of them, and you also have to, you know, have the courage to take their, or have the humility to take their advice when they are right, you know? I'm not saying that I'm married to any particular business model. Who knows? Maybe we're doing the news again in a couple of months.
That's what I'm saying.
Anything's possible.
I'm going to double down on what I said earlier, and this is a message to everybody who's a part of the No Jumper family, who feels like they are now on the bench, who are now deprioritized, or are now not in the game. Just, there is a very, very good chance that the dynamics will change, and you might be back in the mix, Killer. You know what I mean? You might be back in the mix. You never know.
Is that like a slight flex, or was that like
no?
This is just Nostradamus over here.
That's the second time he's turned into Marcus Aurelius.
This is coming from the
trying
guy.
To give everybody advice.
This is coming from the guy that has been literally.
Are you doing this while you're talking?
I am not
like royalty, nigga.
I'm not doing this. No. I'm literally,
honestly,
it's more like if I can do it.
Do y'all got? I'm my bad. The survivor's remorse. But do y'all got like survivor's remorse with this shit? Like you feel guilty for surviving all of this?
No.
Nigga said remorse. Can we Google remorse?
He's done a lot worse that he doesn't have any remorse about. So
no, I know what he's saying though. It's like it's like ultimately at the end of the day, I kind of had to learn my lesson, because I went through the same exact thing a year and a half ago, and my initial reaction was very different than my reaction this time. So.
But Lush, your blanket optimism just does not work, because you're a valuable podcaster. It's not the same for everybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what it is.
Yeah, like you kind of like Dennis Rodman. It's like, bro, you gonna go off and do your little shit. There's a spot that
somebody can put you on. But you good. You know
coming back to this team, nigga. We need 20
There's some people that can only do one thing. And some people who are still struggling with that one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, because the new model is kind of one that like really primarily incentivizes like great content, as in like if you really bring a fucking fire interview to the table, that's going to benefit you as a host on No Jumper. Or if you have like a killer take on the podcast, that's going to benefit. Whereas like there was, at least, you know, some people who were kind of phoning it in on the news and, you know, accepting the check. And not to say that there weren't people who were excited and bringing enthusiasm to it and stuff, but it was kind of like a bunch of people that sort of fallen into the groove of just doing that shit. I'm groovy as fuck on this podcast.
From like you had the environment from afar where it's like, people who get jobs just to do the training period. It's like, we can come over here, get a quick 800 a week or whatever. I don't know what the number is, but what I'm saying? That's how that training period is.
There's people that say all the
I'm not really learning how to do
people that
shit.
say all the 35 words the whole 2 hours. And just watch everybody just sit there, and it might be to it. I don't know. I'm not.
We got to get that shit up out of here.
I was about to say, because what we're talking about.
Now I got to talk the whole morning and look like I just got long lungs. But I mean, like, it's like, goddamn, like, you gonna say something, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the main reason, though, I keep reiterating this point is because I feel like if during the no jumper mass exodus of 2023 had occurred, even with the "you lied to me" Lush gate and all that shit, if I would have just shut the fuck up and fall back within a few months, we might, whatever relationship got repaired between Adam and I and this platform and I probably would have happened a lot quicker. So I'm kind of trying to encourage people, don't crash out. Don't fucking do some shit does that make sense?
And not to be like,
you don't want to burn the bridge.
And not to be like, too personal, but were you under the influence during this time?
No, I wasn't.
That was before that.
Maybe that was the problem.
You wasn't high?
You wasn't high enough?
I like how Lush blames a lot of shit on sobriety now. Like, that's kind of gangster, man.
I'm making
sobriety
more
fucked
money,
my
I'm
life
doing
up.
better, I'm more successful in a relationship, like all the shit, fool.
I mean,
it's working out for you,
I
don't get a bad back.
Facing
I
your
understand
problems
why
sober.
you don't want them to encourage
loves
them to
the
crash
bad
out.
batch.
I do. Please crash out because I will be covering.
ESPN
I'm gonna be real with you, like,
We'll be covering that shit.
Nobody could crash out on me that I give a fuck about at this point. Like, I've just been through the ringer too many times, and let's be honest about what the situation is. If you are somebody who wants to crash out and you want to act like no jumpers are the devil, let's be honest about the reality of the situation. Is I gave you opportunity, I put you in position. At a certain point, as a business, maybe the content schedule changes. If you want to act like a victim because I'm not producing the exact same amount of content that I was at a prior time, I don't give a fuck. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. I didn't even bother to watch any of the clips of people being emotional about it or complaining on the fucking Reddit because I actually genuinely don't really give a fuck. It's like, it's not like I don't care about them as people, but anybody who got anything negative to say, it's like, all right, well, I'm already fucking past this in my mind.
It sound like you telegraphing
it is.
I haven't seen any crash outs yet.
Not crash outs, but I heard there was some criticism.
Yeah, I feel like I just encourage everybody to take their own platforms and start.
As always.
If we all could still collab and do, like, if it's not a lot going on here, maybe you are good at doing it yourself. You can figure it out now. We all can figure it out. Like,
Facts. All right. So with that being said, we're going to be back on stream in 5 to 10 minutes to do a stream where we continue some of these conversations as well as listen to your music. Link in description if you want to donate. And we're going to be reading donations, doing all that kind of shit. Thank you very, very much to our Homeroom University, a.k.a. Menace Material brethren, for stopping by. Make sure you go hit these dudes with a whole bunch of subscribers right now on YouTube. Search Menace Material, and it'll pop right up. We want to see them with a nice old spike so that they can't be like, the best part of the trip was AD taking me to the club. I want the best part of the trip to be us getting them some goddamn subscribers.
Why would you tell him that?
He hating.
I seen you, bro. I seen you on your story.
We had
standing in the club.
We had a great time.
That shit was crazy.
That's the glazed couch.
That shit was more fun.
Yo, somebody mop the couch off when we're done.
It's okay, man. We had a
This
great
one's
time.
fine.
I know y'all from Cackalack, but we don't need no Bowberry biscuits. You feel me? Like, straight
You know his story.
He knows everything, bro.
Don't play with me, man. Play with me.
Some Bowberry biscuits.
That's
But yo, we appreciate you for
appreciate you
for
guys
sure,
for real.
for sure.
You guys are dope.
Oh, yeah. On camera daps.
Let's make sure they know. Let's make sure they know. Yeah, we're probably going to do that again afterwards.
So the
We are very
fans can no longer say who the fuck are these three.
Yeah. And hey, let's stop the fake news too. People acting like the JBP was the first one to put them on camera. The No Jumper News was the first one to have the appearance from AJ.
And very true.
And before he signed to the Black Effect Network,
we didn't sign to the Black Effect.
Yeah, but I seen you at the party.
We went because we got invited.
How was the party?
We get invited a lot of places.
It was great. We get invited.
Is it really a shell company?
People like there's
Streets
real
are saying
people
it's a show
there was real people there. It was a beautiful event.
There were real people.
It was a beautiful event. There was real people because it was Charlamagne's.
You hit on Wheezy?
I didn't.
Was she there?
She was there, of course.
You didn't think about like tossing her a little game?
We can save this for another show.
Or you were more of a Mandy man?
Did
Did you get Weezy out of there?
You know, it was we appreciate y'all this week. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, it's like
he's a Mandy man.
It's like the Adderall just wakes up in Adam's.
I call the handyman. He's a Mandy man.
But yeah, man,
that's only funny to me.
We like to
mammogram.
Meet everybody, enjoy their events, and we're not, we going back and forth. There's not a lot of podcasts blending between East and West Coast.
It is.
It really isn't. I feel like it's just not.
When's the last time you saw Joe Budden, Bricc? In person?
He don't come this way, I feel like.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of people stick away from this bullshit.
Understandably too.
LA is not safe.
Yeah.
LA is not safe.
So there's not a lot of blending. That's always going to help, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, just more trips, maybe every, I don't know.
Let's blend. All right, I'll see y'all on the live stream that we're starting up momentarily. Thank you to you guys.
Yup.
Homer
You already know, worst podcast ever coming soon, baby.